Let's freaking go, baby. The Las Vegas Raiders have extended quarterback Geno Smith to a 2-year, $75 million deal worth up to $85 million. That also has $66.5 million in guarantees. I'm telling you this right now. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and if that deal doesn't fire you up a little bit, then you are got to get out from underneath that rock, because this is a phenomenal deal for the Raiders. It's a phenomenal deal, honestly, even for somebody like Geno Smith. Coming up here on today's live show, I'm going to be answering questions from the nation. We're going to be doing an entire live show. I literally already had one on tap planned for today because we always go live on Thursdays. But I'm going to be sitting here telling you why the Geno Smith contract extension by the Raiders is absolute masterclass by the Silver and Black, because when you look at how much money he could potentially make, and when you look at how this deal ranks against all other NFL deals, this is a great deal for a quarterback that is a top 15 QB that I honestly think has top 10 upside with this Chip Kelly offense. And I know there's still a lot of pieces remaining out there, but I mean this. This is a way better deal than I ever thought was going to be possible for the Raiders and for Geno Smith. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, we already got over 1,000 people here in the building. If you haven't clicked that like button yet, make sure you click that like button, because if you can't tell how fired up I am right now, then I'm telling you, it's time to wake up here a little bit. I see Shock Bowers. What up, Randy? Simba, my man, King Shab, I got you. Rory, Kobe, King, Raider Muerte, Vincenzo, Jeremy Cole, all showing love out there for Geno Smith. And I'm telling you, when you're able to get a quarterback that is as good as Geno Smith at the price tag that the Raiders did, this is going to be one of those deals that we go back and we look at in the next year or two. And I don't know exactly how the contract is broken down on a year-by-year basis, but the thing you got to look at is what the Geno Smith deal looks like in the year of 2027, because the way the Raiders structured Max Crosby's contract, they front-loaded it. That way, their window is in 2027. Ryan J., appreciate the super chat, my brother. I saw this one come in a little bit earlier, right before the show ended up getting started. Let's go to Ryan J. Reminder, if you want to get up on the screen today with this breaking news, you're going to have to super chat. Mitch and Chug, so this definitely means we are drafting a quarterback maybe in the third. Also, what I meant to say, Chugs, was CM Punk's favorite night 2 of WrestleMania is with Cody and Cena. See you guys. Awesome. Take care. I have been saying for a while that I actually think that the Raiders are probably going to end up taking a quarterback on day 3, and I say that just simply because the Geno Smith deal originally in my mind said, oh, wow, they might go out and get Shador. But then when you heard that the Raiders believe that Geno was a quarterback that they could win with and that they are going to try to win this season, I believe day 3 is when the Raiders are going to look at a QB, and one of the segments that you will actually see on today's show is going to be who some of those quarterbacks could be. But I believe a guy like Quinn Ewers has to be on the Raiders' radar. Will Howard's going to be a name I'll throw out there. Jalen Milroe will be a name that I'm going to throw out there, and Kyle McCord. But day 3 looks like the day that the Raiders are going to be targeting a quarterback. Let's go to my man Raider Muerte. Already over 1,300 people watching this show. And if y'all don't know, Mark Davis watches this show. Damian Lillard watches this show. George Lopez watches this show. When breaking news happens, shit gets wild on here. If you want to take this to Oakland style, I'm ready to go. I've been waiting for this Geno Smith contract extension for a long time. Who's going to be the first crazy mother effer that bangs? And when we get this thing going, I'm telling you, the party's not going to stop. So if you're not ready, then don't be ready. What up, Gary Davidson? He said, eat the chip. I don't have the chip yet, but we will end up ordering it at some time. Here's the deals that are going to be on today's show that we were going to do for Thursday Happy Hour. Y'all are getting them now with this Geno Smith breaking news. Every $5 super chat that we get, you're going to be entered in to win a Raiders draft hat, and we're going to do that raffle at the very end of today's show. Every $20 Venmo, you're going to be entered in to win a duck race. We're going to give some money away at the end of today's show. Every hundo that we get, it's going to be a beer bong. Every $100 Venmo that we get. If anybody wants a Raiders Report hat, I only have a limited amount. And whoever is the MVP of today's show, you get to be a sponsor on the Raiders Report like we did earlier last week with 93 Navman and Mount Raidermore. I'm telling you what right now, man. Can I get a grade for the Geno Smith contract extension? Again, we're talking 2 years, $75 million, worth up to $85.5 with the $66.5 guaranteed. And I say that this number is really important. And again, when it was first reported by Jordan Schultz, the $85.5 million, which I saw a lot of people talking about, was around like oh, like this is how much they thought the deal was. It is worth up to $85.5 million. Adam Schefter ended up clarifying that. But the fact that the biggest number that people should look at, and this is obviously the 2-year, because you also got to remember that it's a full 3-year deal because Geno already has that 1 year for $31 million already on the books after the Seahawks trade. And because we didn't get this extension done by the 16th, that one's already obviously locked in. So Geno Smith will be the Raiders quarterback for the next 3 seasons. That you can just lock in loaded. The guarantee money, though, is where Raider fans should look. It is the 17th most guaranteed dollars for a quarterback in the NFL. This is also really important because the Brock Purdy deal isn't done yet. This is obviously Purdy's going to raise that number up a little bit, and it kind of reminded me of when I said the Raiders really need to get a deal done with Max Crosby before the Myles Garrett deal gets done. It's kind of the same thought process of the Raiders needed to get a Geno Smith deal done before Aaron Rodgers, before somebody along the lines of even a guy like Brock Purdy. The first one, Josh Bang! Raiders, great news. We got Geno for at least 3 years now. One of the things that I've been saying around Geno Smith has been if people who actually watch Geno Smith film realize how good of a quarterback he is. If you're somebody that's just like, oh, Geno Smith stinks, that tells me you haven't watched any tape. That tells me that you need to go and you need to look at something more than just a box score. One of my favorite Geno Smith stats is last season, he faced an interior pressure rate of 38.4%. From a comparison standpoint, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs faced an interior pressure rate last year in the Super Bowl at 38%. So what Patrick Mahomes dealt with in the Super Bowl last year is what Geno Smith dealt with the entire freaking season. And Geno Smith ended up winning 10 football games. Geno Smith has got more wins than Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford over the past 3 seasons. I really, really think that Geno Smith deserves a lot more love from Raider Nation because I'm telling you, this is the best quarterback that this team has had since 2016, Derek Carr. And it's time for the nation to wake up and get on board. Josh I said, Mitch, let's get down to bang. If you want to shout out, I want to see some Josh eyes down below. Let's go to my man, Nerveman. Bang! That's a bad, bad man right there. King Shav asked me to do it. His fault. Geno at that price point is an absolute steal. I could not agree with you more. This Geno Smith extension for the Raiders is an A grade. And I don't think it's all that close. I don't know how you can give it anything less than an A grade. Reminder, when Geno asked to be traded, and I shouldn't say asked to be traded, but Geno and the Seahawks, they could not get to a number, and it was reported by everybody under the sun that Geno was looking for $45 to $40 million per year, and it was one of the reasons why the Seahawks decided to ship him off to Las Vegas and get a deal done. When you see the Sam Darnold contract, and now you see the Geno Smith contract, Tom Delaney, who does a lot of the deals for the Raiders, my hat's off to you, good sir. This is another great, great job by you, my man. Reminder is we're going to get into the very first show coming up here on the Raiders Report once we get to 500 likes. I want to get to 500 likes, and then we're going to get this first show on the road. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty damn good, man. I feel pretty damn good about what the Raiders were able to do here with Geno Smith. But not only are we going to talk about Geno Smith on today's episode, I also wanted to do a mailbag. We got some March Madness duck races that we're going to do. We have a whole other segment around some Raiders news and rumors that I want to be able to talk about. For those of you that don't know, we go live every single Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we do 3 shows. We have a lot of fun. This is usually our day that we like to get wet and wild. Well, you're going to get all that on top of you're getting some Geno Smith breaking news. We're about 50 likes away from 500, and Chugs, y'all know how Chugs is. He's going to hold you to this number. I want to be able to talk about it. Chugs wants y'all to get to 500 likes as soon as we do. We got 1,500 people in the building right now, and I know that a lot of y'all are fired up. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about in this Geno Smith segment is it's going to be around how good of a deal this is. Because I do really, really think that this is such a good deal for the Raiders from the guarantee standpoint, the tying him into Pete Carroll standpoint. We just got 500 likes. Let's get into the breaking news right now around Geno Smith. We got some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have given Geno Smith a 2-year extension. That is a $75 million deal. It is worth up to $85.5 million with $66.5 million guaranteed. I'm telling you this right now, that is an A-plus type of extension that the Raiders were able to get done for Geno Smith. And anytime breaking news happens, you better have those subscribe button clicked. You better have that notification bell turned on. Where my Noti gang at? Because I knew as soon as this breaking news happened, I could not wait to get live, and I could not wait to sit up here and talk about this big-time move around the silver and black. So the first person on this was Jordan Schultz, and he reported it was a 2-year, $85.5 million with $66.5 million in guarantees. And then Adam Schefter came in and said, well, wait a minute. Let's be clear here. It's a 2-year, $75 million deal. So when you think about the deal for Geno Smith, he already has that 1 year at $31 million. So it's 1 year at 31 plus 2 years at 75. So it can get up to 85.5. Overall, though, the number one thing that I'm looking at for the Geno Smith contract is not only the guaranteed money, which is the 17th most guaranteed money in the NFL from a quarterback standpoint, but I knew guarantees was one of the reasons why this contract was getting held up here a little bit. And when you look at the guaranteed dollars and it's the 17th most, you're getting a quarterback that is no doubt a top 15 QB that's got top 10 QB upside with Chip Kelly and with a good offensive line. And then you're getting him, though, at the 17th most quarterback dollars. This is also coming in before the Brock Purdy deal, which is going to really influence, I think, some other deals that you see end up getting done. The other really important thing about the Geno Smith extension is it's a 2-year extension with 1 year, 3 years. When Pete Carroll was hired, they give him a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. When the Raiders have a window, you're looking at this window right now, and I don't know how the detail or how the contract's going to be broken down year after year after year, but I am really curious to see if the Raiders structure the Geno Smith extension very similar to the way that they did with Max Crosby, where they front-loaded Max's deal, and then in 2027, it's $0 million guaranteed, but they gave Max that a little bit of a deal. I would like to see how Geno's contract does end up getting broken down, but a 2-year extension at 75 worth up to $85 million, when Geno was looking for $45 to $40 million per year, this is an absolute slam dunk by Tom Delaney, Pete Carroll, John Spytek, Tom Brady. I don't care who is associated with this. This is a great freaking job. Throw Greg Olson's name in there. He's worked with Geno Smith. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. I want you to grade the extension of Geno Smith, A, B, C, D, or F. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, be a Raider fan. Let me know down below your answer to this question. This is an A to me, and I say it's an A because when you look at the Sam Darnold deal, Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. When you look at the guaranteed money of a lot of these other quarterbacks, hell, like, let's even talk about, and I don't like to bring up his name, but you look at the Derek Carr contract and you compare it to what Geno Smith's getting, we all know Smith is a better quarterback than DC. Only people that don't see that got some beer goggles on. But my favorite part about what Geno's also going to be able to bring to the table is Geno Smith wins football games. He has won more games than Joe Burrow over the last 3 years. He's won more games than Matthew Stafford over the last 3 years. And when he has had Pete Carroll in 2023 and in 2022, he has been able to win some football games. When he has had a average offensive line, Geno Smith over the past 3 years, and when he had a running game that averaged just 4.0 yards per carry, went 21-0. And I also think when you just consider the fact of how good this regime is from top to bottom, John Spytek has done a great job with journeyman quarterbacks. Look at Pete Carroll, what he was able to do for Geno before and after. Chip Kelly's done a phenomenal job with quarterbacks. Greg Olson, you can say what you want about him being an OC, but he is a great quarterback mind. When you add the skill set of Geno Smith and when you really, really break down the tape and you look at how good of a deep ball passer is, and for people that look at advanced analytics, Geno Smith is a top 13 quarterback almost at every time you look at advanced analytics about how great of a QB he is when you just give him average time to pass. The Seattle Seahawks had one of the worst offensive lines in the National Football League last season, and the Raiders already have a better O-line. I know that we still need to add another talented player as a receiver, but Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, this offensive line, I think sky is the limit for Geno Smith. I don't know if he's going to put up over 30 touchdowns, but I'm telling you this right now, we're already in a spot where we can win 8, 9, potentially 10 games with Geno. We got to be able to stay healthy. We still have the draft to be able to crush this, but this is a really good sign that the Raiders are continuously doing things the way that smart organizations run it. And they're making sure that we finally have a quarterback that actually gives us a chance to win some freaking football games. So coming up here, I wanted to be able to compare this Geno Smith deal to some other quarterback deals in the National Football League. And, oh man, I am unbelievably excited for how good of a deal this is. Like, it literally feels to me like a huge weight off my shoulders. I was worried it was going to be higher. Now seeing how this deal is structured, I mean, this is an A-plus trade for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I could not be happier. Speaking of being happier, I like being able to put some money in my pocket, and if you're like me, you got to get started with the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there, Prize Picks. Springtime is here. Baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineups. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first-inning runs, take your pick, more or less, for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and more. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. One of the more or lesses on Prize Picks for Geno Smith is 22.5 passing touchdowns. Give me the flipping more on that, and it's really not even all that difficult. Hell, Prize Picks also has one. It's like 3,475 passing yards for Geno Smith for the season. Give me the more on that one. It's not difficult, I promise you. Geno's going to throw for more than those passing yards. And I promise you, Geno Smith's going to throw for more than 22.5 passing touchdowns and a Chip Kelly offense, especially when you have the amount of talented coaches and personnel that this organization has from the very top to the very bottom. So again, if you want to get started with Prize Picks, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. So when you first saw the breaking news come in that Geno got a 2-year, $75 million extension worth up to $85.5 million, I don't know if y'all do this, but the first thing I think of is, how does this compare to other quarterbacks around the National Football League? And when you see the highest paid QBs per year, I mean, when you're looking at the top 10 right now, for most of these guys making over $51 million per year, Geno Smith is somewhere around, I believe it's like $37.25 million, as I think is technically what it comes out to, when you also add the 1 year that he already has, so the 3 years in that. Like, for us to be able to get a quarterback of Geno Smith's caliber at the price tag that we are getting him, again, I don't know what the exact salary cap breakdown is going to be in 2025, 2026, and in 2027. But what I do know is you're getting a quarterback that gives you a chance to win. And when you compare it to, some of the other deals around the NFL, the Sam Darnold 3-year for $100.5 million, or you're telling me we get Geno at basically $5 million more. I'm taking Geno Smith every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. Russell Wilson, 1 year, $10.5. That one's worth up to $20 million. Justin Fields, they gave him $30 million guaranteed. I'm sorry. When you see the Justin Fields deal and then you look at how it's essentially the Geno Smith deal, it's not close to me. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to get. We don't know what Brock Purdy's going to get. But I am really happy that the Raiders were honestly able to get that deal done before Brock Purdy got paid, because the Purdy deal, I do think, could potentially open up the floodgates for a very difficult conversation for a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of the agents, a lot of teams around the league. But the #1 reason why I love this deal for the Raiders is because I believe in this regime. And I believe in this regime because of what they've been able to do throughout the history of developing quarterbacks. Like, the way that we thought of Geno Smith before and after Pete Carroll is huge. But Carroll has also been able to develop a quarterback like Russell Wilson, has also been able to develop a quarterback like Geno Smith. You look at what John Spytek did for Baker Mayfield, really helped him get his season, his career, get it going. Look at what John Spytek was able to do with Tom Brady, bringing him down to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady's got a pretty good quarterback mind last time that I checked. That's going to help out a lot. Chip Kelly's been able to work with all these different quarterbacks. That's helped out a lot. And the fact that Geno Smith over last season was the third best QB on target throws of 10 and 20 yards down the field, was the number one quarterback in the NFL for explosive play rate down the field. You combine the skill set of Geno and how accurate he is and his ability to throw the ball down the field. You combine that with Chip Kelly and how this offense is going to really try to spread you out. I don't think people understand how good of a quarterback Geno Smith is. And then when you add all of those pieces with even somebody like a great quarterback coach like Greg Olson, and you can roll your eyes with Greg Olson all you want, but when you get guys like Sean McVay wanting to work for you, all these really great offensive minds, they want Greg Olson to be that quarterback coach. You know why? They respect him in that regard. You can say what you want about Geno. Geno is a fringe 15. I have him ranked as my 14th best quarterback in the NFL. But when the 14th best quarterback in the NFL is getting paid way better than like 17th highest guaranteed money, and then you have all those coaches to go on top of it, we legitimately going to have a top 10 quarterback making QB 18, 19 money by the end of the year. It's a great job by the Raiders. So now let's talk about this. Will the Raiders end up drafting a quarterback this season? With the NFL draft just a few weeks away, we're going to be live on this channel. I know last season we had close to 300,000 people join us for the NFL draft. We were live for close to 21 hours, and I hope that you guys tune in for all 3 days. You will get the picks before you see them on TV. We will have them here on the Raiders Report. But I think the question is, will the Raiders end up drafting a quarterback this season? And my answer is, yeah. I do still think that the Raiders end up doing it, and I say that because earlier today, there was a report that came out that the Raiders were interested in Joe Milton, and I first saw it from Tafer, which you got to take everything Tafer says with a grain of salt, but it was reported by Jordan Schultz that the Raiders were one of those teams that was interested in Joe Milton. So if you're interested in Joe Milton, that means you're interested in developing a quarterback. You're developing a quarterback to be able to put underneath Geno for 2 to 3 years, let him learn, and then if he's good enough to hand the keys to the car in 2027, sure, let's roll it out there. But I would say right now, the quarterbacks that the Raiders are really going to target are day 3 guys. They believe that this team can win right now. And if you believe that this team can win right now, you're going to use pick number 6 on a player that can help you win. Pick number 37, pick number 68 on guys that can help you win right now. Because when you look at some of those later rounds and talent, it does quickly dwindle. But quarterbacks like a Quinn Ewers, like a Jalen Milroe, like a Kyle McCord, like a Will Howard, I would say right now those are the top 4 quarterbacks that I would say are the most likely to get drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I'll tell you this. We got 2,000 people here in the building right now. And I don't know about you. I'm ready to turn the F up here a little bit. I want to get a little bit wet and wild. It's Thursday. I'm going to be real. I'm off tomorrow. Chugs and I don't have to work on Friday. We got a 3-day weekend, and I'm ready to get after it. If you're not live and you're not watching this video with us, make sure you pull up to the Raiders Report on YouTube because shit's about to go down. What up, my man, Lurk? Lurk here in the building. This one's going to go out to Josh I, 93 Nab Man. I'm going to answer some questions here on today's show. And reminder, it's a $20 Venmo. If you want to get in for the duck race for a chance to win some money, we're going to do that near the end of today's show. Every $5 super chat, you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a Raiders Report hat. And if anybody wants a actual Raiders Report hat, it's a $100 Venmo. No, the $5 raffle was for a draft hat. Excuse me. $5 raffles for a draft hat. That's the Geno Smith excitement talking to me. How would you feel about signing Juwan Bentley? I actually said that I thought that the Raiders could be interested in going out and getting Bentley because they were interested in Christian Ellis. And then a few hours later, the Raiders ended up, going out and signing Devin White, which even the Devin White deal, 1 year, $1.03 million, I was a lot more nervous about it. But that doesn't say he's going to be a starter money. I would say there is a chance they would be interested in Juwan Bentley. Though, at this point, I would say let's just go out and draft a linebacker, maybe 2. Because I would have loved them, honestly, to get E.J. Speed. E.J. Speed on a 1-year, $5 million deal. I really wish that the Raiders would have been able to do that. Let's go to my man, DeMokes.
Which, shout out to Mokes. He made me $50 richer this offseason. Shout out to my man, DeMokes. Appreciate you, my big dog. Raiders going to the Super Bowl. Confirmed. Geno Smith MVP coming.
I hope you're right. You want to make a bet? All right, how about this? If Geno Smith wins the MVP, you owe me $100. If not, I owe you 10.
100.
No.
Because I think it's more fair money. I think
Stop.
100.
Stop. Anthony Morales, quarterback this year, is still a must. Welcome home. See,
he said welcome home, Dart.
Oh, see, I really don't think Jackson Dart is going to be the quarterback that the Raiders target. Again, when you think about the Geno Smith deal, he's going to be your QB for at least 2 seasons, and I want to see what that money looks like in the final year. I would project that they think that Geno's going to be the guy for the next, I would say it's no doubt 2 years, maybe that 3rd year. I'm not as high on Jackson Dart, and I don't really think that the Raiders are either. He's a good quarterback, can throw the football down the field pretty well, but really inconsistent, and he's going to go early in the draft. Now, if he slides a little bit later, because there's some reports out there that Shedeur and Dart could end up sliding down, but I don't think Jackson Dart is the answer, and I hope that, to be honest, that the Raiders don't draft him. Let's go to Knight. What up, Mitch? I'll tell you what, Geno's money. The Geno money is really good money. It's money for Geno. I'm happy for him. I'm also really happy for the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a phenomenal deal for the silver and black. And quite frankly, I haven't been able to say that I've liked a quarterback deal for the Raiders. And I don't even know, 10 years? I hated the Derek Carr deal. I hated the Jimmy Garoppolo deal.
I think this deal is the just win-win.
I think it is a just win-win, baby. Let's go to O'Neal Seward, LFG Raiders. Sun on my face. Appreciate you. We had Josh I. Appreciate you.
Sutton on my face said go Broncos. Can we get some FDENs in the chat?
I didn't even see him down there.
Can we get some FDENs in the chat? We got some Bronco haters and Blow Nicks in the chat.
I hate Blow Nicks. Malachi, let's go Geno. Playoff bound. I don't think the Raiders are playoff bound. We still have a lot of holes that we need to address, but you're tripping if you don't think that the Raiders are a better football team right now than what they were last season. And I only say that because of Geno Smith. Geno Smith instantly makes this football team a much better football team overall.
And then I did realize we didn't really read Navman's super chat.
Now that the draft option are wide open, I am not used to us underpaying and overachieving. It is quite refreshing. I think when you see the way that the Raiders have gone about this offseason, they've gone about this offseason of, I'm going to pay people that I believe in. And when you see a deal like the 3-year deal, that tells me that they project that player to be a part of the ride for the long haul. Adam Butler, 3-year deal. Geno Smith, 3-year deal now. When you see player, a lot of one-year prove-it deals, which I kind of like from a brand new regime, but then when there's players that they're going, this is a staple, this is a pillar guy. Max Crosby, 3-year deal. They're tying the pillar players to Pete Carroll for the next 3 seasons, and that's what good organizations do. Let's go to my man Patrick. What up, Patrick? Need Genty, a corner, and a vet wide receiver. Bowers, Mayer, Moster, and getting these 3 would start to look like a competing team. I mean, I would love the idea of Genty. I would also love the idea of a bunch of other running backs in this year's class.
Moster.
I do think adding a vet wide receiver like a Keenan Allen, like a Tyler Lockett. I am curious, though, now that the Geno Smith deal is officially done, are we going to start to see this kind of like roll with, dominoes start to fall? Could a Tyler Lockett deal end up getting done? Could a Keenan Allen deal get done? I think Robert Woods would be a cheap option that they could look at. They obviously brought in Hunter Renfrow. There's some interest there. But I don't disagree with you. We do need a corner. We need another receiver. We need a running back. We need a linebacker. We need a free safety. We need a lot of other positions. What up, Ivan? Raider Nation, stand up. If you want to shout out, if you're standing up right now, can I get some Raider Nations for life down below? RNFL, Raider Nation for life. Where we at, baby? Rhino Jimenez, I see you down there below, dude. Appreciate you. Reminder, if you want to get in for a chance to win a little bit of money here on today's show, the duck race is going to be a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Right now, I got my man Can't Walk. I got you in. My dog, you, sir, are in. I see Amy, you in. Rich Renz, you in. Rob Forever, you're in. Nathan, I don't know what that one is. Nathan, you, sir, are in. LCA, I got you, my man. You in. 93 Nav, you in. And then Jason Goot, you are in. Can you also write down Jason Goot for the Raiders draft hat entry. So that means $20 Venmo. You're in right now for a chance to win. As it stands, $80 here on today's show. If you want a Raiders Report hat, $100 Venmo, it's yours. I just also need your first and your last name, and I got to be able to send it to you. So I am going to need your shipping address. The way that we're getting down here on today's show is I want to be able to answer questions. I want to be able to talk about the Raiders. We do have some segments that we have already planned out on today's show.
So really it's just one more segment and then a mailbag. So get your questions in with Super Chats, or if you have Raiders questions, hashtag Raiders in the comment section so I can pull it up. We'll do this segment here in probably like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. We'll let you answer some questions. We'll do the segment, and then we'll do our mailbag to finish off the show.
I like it. I like it a lot, man. I like it. I like it a lot. How we feeling about Mr. Geno? I see Miguel Gomez rocking with me. Jason Collins, Ernesto, Clips Mania 2011. What's up, man?
I think
Mark Morrison, Mark Prosser. Mark, what up?
I think you'll like this, Super.
Gabriel Sanchez. What's the highest thing Gabriel Sanchez evolves into?
Oh, Gabriella.
Close. If fans don't think this organization has been one of the smartest this offseason,
Bulbasaur?
Then you don't know ball. Nope, you're not there.
I'm not a Pokemon
This is
guy.
Squirtle.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Who evolves into Wartortle or something like that. And then that evolves into Blastoise. There you go, Pokemon. Gabriel, I'm not going to say that I think that they have been operating as a smart organization. I will admit that there's been at times where I think that they've gone a little bit cheap, or they've gone out and gotten their guys. I don't mind the Devin White deal again. I was a little bit more nervous about it when I first saw it, but 1 year for $1.03 million, there's no risk involved in that at all. The Alex Kappa move, I obviously didn't love that one. I kind of want to see if he ends up starting or not. But what I do see here is an organization that believes in themselves. And a lot of times organizations that don't believe in themselves go out and they overspend in free agency. Look at what John Gruden did. Look at what that pass regime did. It's because I honestly don't think that they believed in their ability to draft. Teams that believe in their ability to draft spend the way that the Raiders are spending right now, but they also, like Spytek and Carroll, have that track record of being able to go out and find those draft gems. Teams aren't built in free agency. Good Super Bowl caliber teams are built in the draft, and they're built the way that the Raiders are trying to build this roster right now. It's not going to be something overnight, but if you are able to hit on some of these picks, the Raiders Super Bowl window is 2027. 2026, 2027, I think that's when they're going to try to go out there and try to win it all, where in 2025, they're trying to get better, and they're just trying to be a playoff caliber team.
So, Mitch, a couple things.
I'm listening.
One, the Geno docket we can't get into. It's not allowing me to click into it. Number two, Moose also needs the thumbnail for it.
They are all in thumbnails. It's there from like 3 weeks ago, but everything's in there. Yep, wild stuff. Gabriel, appreciate this one a lot, dude. Really, really do, man. We are 10 likes away from getting to 800. I'll make you all a deal. If we get to 1,000 likes here, we're going to throw back another beer bong. I'm on a Thursday where I got off tomorrow, if you're not ready to get down a little bit for this Geno Smith extension, then I don't know. Then we can't hang out in Oakland, man. What up, Raider Tone? I think that was the next one. Or Blinky, sorry. John Spytek is cooking. I wish he could do a better job than the Raiders report, but these deals he's gotten these free agents for is damn close. I don't know what that means. I wish he could do a better job than the Raiders report. I don't know what that means. But these deals he's gotten these free agents for is damn close. I mean, they've gone cheap at times. They are just spending, I think, in a responsible way for a team that, honestly is looking themselves in the mirror and is probably going, I don't think that we can win a Super Bowl this year. But if we can at least build a roster that makes this team compete, and we can build some solid building blocks and really position ourselves to try to go out and do it in the year 2026, 2027, then I'm okay with that. There always has to be a plan. And when a team executes a plan well, I'm on board for that idea. The Raiders have been kind of illustrating this, and it really... That first thought popped up into my mind after the Max Crosby deal. Because when you saw the way that they structured Max Crosby's contract, it was, we believe our Super Bowl window is in the year of 2027. We are going to go for it in 2026, but you at least have to get the ball moving in the right direction in order to get there. And the Raiders know, like Pete Carroll knows his job's safe for the next 3 years. John Spytek knows his job is safe for the next 3 years. Like those guys, no matter what, are going to have a job. So if you know that you're going to have a job and you know that you're not going to lose your job, you're going to try to plan for the best of that ability in that third year, because then they also have that option where Pete Carroll's got a fourth-year option. If I was Pete Carroll, I would go, well, yeah, it's important to win right now, but the year that it's the most important to win in is the year 2027. That way I get an opportunity to come back in the year 2028. And all the deals that the Raiders are doing, I mean, that's what it's screaming to me. We're trying to win now, but our Super Bowl window is in 2026 and in 2027. Blinky, appreciate you, my dog. Let's go to Suave. Mitch and Chug, sup, rank Bowers as a wide receiver in the NFL. Oh, boy. He's no doubt the number one tight end in the league. If I had to rank Bowers as a wide receiver, it's honestly not a fair question, because I do think what Bowers is able to do, I mean, he would be one of the best blockers at a receiver. I don't know if he's as good of a catcher of a football as some of these other guys. He's not as athletic as some of these other players, but if we're just talking about overall receiver, he's probably like, I don't know, in the 20 to 25 range if just wide receiver. But at the exact same time, though, like, that's not what I need in Brock Bowers. What makes Brock Bowers amazing is you don't just say wide receiver. What makes Brock Bowers amazing is you can line him up at a slot. You can line him up as an X receiver. You can put his hand in the dirt as a blocking tight end. You can put him up as an H-back, like the way the Niners used to use Kyle Juszczyk. You can use Brock Bowers in so many different ways. I don't want to rank him as a receiver. I want to rank him as a football player, because I'm telling you what, he ranks really high as a football player. What up, Jersey boy? Hot take. Steelers take Dart in the first. I actually don't think that's all that of a hot take. I think it's actually been a thing that we have been hearing from time to time. And I always know where there's smoke, there's fire. I know we say it all the time here on this show, but there's a lot of smoke. I mean, honestly, the smoke right now around the Raiders, and I said this on my video that I did yesterday, and y'all are going to get a video that Chugs and I recorded yesterday. You're going to get it, I believe it's on Sunday, around a certain NFL draft prospect that I'm telling you right now, we haven't really talked about him all that much. But I think that there's a chance he goes number 6 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. It's not Mason Graham. It's not Ashton Genty. It's not Will Campbell. It's not Armin Membu. It's not Jahdae Barron. It's not Will Johnson. There's a certain prospect that I'm telling you, over the past 48 hours, we've been hearing a lot. It's been reported by some very credited people around the NFL circles. And I already made a video on it yesterday. There might be some more attention around this certain player over the next 24, 48 hours. But when you see the video drop on Sunday, just remember what I'm talking about right now. Because there is a certain player that's not being discussed all that much that I do think is one of the top players that the Raiders could pick at number 6. If you want to try to guess who that is, let me know down below. What up, Michael Young? Mina Kimes is saying Geno's deal is 3 years at $37 million a year. Is that what you heard? Love the show. So the actual math, if anybody wants to do the math, what is 75 plus 31? 75 plus 31, 106, divided by 3. There you go. Like, that's what the contract is. Because Geno's already got 31, it's 2 years, 75. Now, Geno can make up to $85.5 million. And if I had to guess, okay, if I had to guess how that contract was going to be structured, it's probably structured very similar to the way that Geno's deal was structured with the Seattle Seahawks. What do I mean by that? If Geno threw for a certain amount of passing yards, which I believe in the Seattle deal, it was if he threw for more than 4,200 yards, he made $2 million. If Geno had a certain completion percentage, I believe it was 67%, got $2 million. If Geno threw for a certain amount of touchdowns, $2 million. If Geno got to the playoffs or had a winning record, or I believe 10 wins, $2 million. That's how this contract's going to be structured, where he's going to be able to get incentives based on wins, based on touchdowns, based on yards, based on completion percentage. All that's going to be in there. But what's the math? 106 divided by 3. 106 divided by 3. comes out to 35.3. I mean, like, again, that's pretty good. When I say that's pretty good, that's unbelievable deal for the Raiders. Now, again, you got some other incentives up there. The more important number, though, that Raider fans should look at is the $66.5 million guaranteed. Like, that's the number that should actually resonate with Raider fans more, because that means that no matter what, you got to pay him $66.5 million over, 2 more years on top of that. So that's the more important number down there. Simba, what's going on, man? Raiders release, even if it's 85.5, I still think it's a great deal. I'm with you. If Geno ends up getting, here's my honest take. It's a better deal for the Raiders, I guarantee you, if it's 2 for 85.5 instead of Geno making 2 for 75. And I say that because I'll pay a QB an extra $10 million if he's going to able to hit all those other incentives like I talked about. Passing touchdowns, passing yards, completion percentage. Wins is going to be one of those. Hell, give him more money. If you're telling me we're doing all those things and we got to give more money, that is a good thing for the Raiders, because what you don't want is to give a guy $75 million and you end up stinking up the place. What up, Nab? This camp is going to be nasty. Full of bangers with shit to prove. Can expect attrition and fights in camp. I am stoked. I don't know if we're going to expect fights. I will say that. Actually, I think that's something that Pete Carroll, I think, has done a halfway decent job. There's going to be a lot of competition, right? There's going to be a lot of guys going out there, and they're going to be competing, which actually, the off-season program, do we have that team card built? Well, the Raiders released actually some of their off-season dates today, which was going to be one of the things that I talked about on today's live show. So the first day of off-season workouts, and none of this is mandatory for veterans. It's just for a lot of the new players like a Jeremy Chin, which, funny enough, I'll make you guys a cool deal here. I found out a really interesting story about Jeremy Chin over the past 48 to 72 hours. Once we get to 1,000 likes on this show, I will share the Jeremy Chin story that I got, and I got photos to prove it. But the first day of the off-season workouts is going to be on April 8th, then voluntary minicamp from April 21st to the 23rd. OTA off-season workouts, again, none of this is mandatory, May 19th, and then it's May 21st to the 22nd, the 27th of May, May 29th to the 30th, so 2 days. Then there's a little bit of a break, and then from June 2nd to June 5th, and then mandatory minicamp starts on June 10th. These were some of the dates that were just released by the Las Vegas Raiders. Jonathan Smith said, I want to hear it. Come on, get those likes up. What up, Josh Melton? What do you think about Ricky White from UNLV? What round do you think he will get drafted? I would say he's a 7th round / UDFA guy. One of the videos that Chugs and I filmed yesterday, and again, we actually filmed some extra shows yesterday because we have a 3-day weekend here at Chat Sports. We have a Chat Sports holiday is what I'll call it tomorrow, so we had to just do some extra work yesterday. One of the videos, I think it's going to be the video that you guys will get on Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be around some wide receivers that the Raiders are looking at. Raiders that, top 30 visits, NFL Combine visits, guys that I know are on the Raiders' radar. But Ricky White is one of the players that I mentioned in that video, and I don't want to give away too much of what I talk about, but I would say 7th round / UDFA. His biggest value, though, is the special teams guy. That's where he's going to make his bread in the NFL. He's going to be a special teams guy. Josh, appreciate you, though. I hope that Ricky, though, can do a better job. He kind of reminds me of a Christian Wilkerson with a lot more special teams ability. What up, my man, Raider Tone? EJ Speed is a Texan now. Sign either Kaiser White or Isaiah Simmons and draft Cody Simon in the 4th round.
Yeah, dude, EJ Speed would have been a great signing.
EJ Speed would have been a great sign. I mean, 1 year, $5 million. I look at that type of deal and I go, I would have rather the Raiders given EJ Speed 1 for 5 instead of giving Alex Cap a $5.5 million guaranteed.
And if this makes Raider fans feel any better, Raider Tone, if this makes you feel any better, I almost said Raider Tone. EJ Speed actually took less money from the Texans
I'm listening.
than the 49ers and the Cowboys. He had offers from both of those teams for more money, and he chose to go to the Texans because he wanted to play. He's from Texas. Mm-hmm. He wanted to play with D'Amico Ryans, a linebacker guru. Is what he said.
And I mean, I don't blame a guy for having that mindset, right? I mean, he probably thought his market was going to be a lot higher. So you take a 1 year, he's taking a prove-it deal to go play with D'Amico Ryans in that linebacker room. And, the other thing that I would look at a lot of the times if I was a linebacker, I would say, what are my strengths and weaknesses? EJ Speed is a good all-around linebacker. I think he can do a lot of different things. But then you're also working with D'Amico, who's had a lot of linebacking experience. And then, their linebackers had a lot of work last year, which obviously most teams do. But they're going to be playing from ahead, I think that they think. So that could help out EJ Speed a little bit. Let's go to DJ Spiffy J. Coupon John back at it again with the cheap deals. What's really funny, I think, about people that say this, and not that John Spytek doesn't have anything to do with the deals, but he obviously has some say, but people are screaming Coupon John. I think, honestly, you might as well just slap casual on your forehead because Tom Delaney's the one that does a lot of the contracts for the Raiders, and he's actually one of the best guys in the league. But, this statement I don't understand, and I say that because cheap is a lot different than good, right? I don't look at this Geno Smith contract as being cheap at all, and if there is a deal that's going to be cheap, isn't that a good thing for the Raiders? I think Raider fans got to get away from being – there's too many Raider fans that care more about being right or care about, their opinion instead of just what's best for the Raiders and winning football games. I hope Devin White gives me a big old middle finger this season and says, suck on these, you know what, Mitch. I'm going to go out there and do what Robert Spillane did and prove you wrong. There's nothing that would make me happier than that. Too many people are against Geno Smith. And again, I think people who don't watch football don't think Geno Smith's very good. People who actually took time out of their day to actually watch some Geno Smith film will know that he's a lot better quarterback than what people realize. What do you got?
Michael said, any idea on when they're going to finally have the Geno press conference? Because they were waiting on this.
It'll be soon now. So the reason why it hasn't happened yet is because the Geno Smith deal didn't end up getting done. And now when I see the way that it was structured, it's more guaranteed than I originally thought, but it's also less money overall than I originally thought. So Geno probably wanted some more guaranteed money in there. If I had to guess, and I hate saying this, it might be tomorrow. If it is tomorrow, which again, it'll be my off day, if it's tomorrow, I will still try to do something in regards to Geno, and I might end up having to do it at home. My cousin's also in Dallas he's never been here before, so I was going to hang out with him a little bit tomorrow. I also got to get my hair cut. A lot of really important things tomorrow.
Wait,
what up?
Really?
Nico. Yes. It's a trim.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you were abandoning the long hair.
Oh, no. If I do, Alex is going to abandon me. Let's go to Nico. What up, gangsters? Very cool, calm, collected offseason. I'm with it. Rank these quarterbacks with their contracts. Geno, Dak, T-Law. Geno equals best value, easy. And I completely agree with that.
Oh,
I'll be real with you. I think I would actually rather have Dak Prescott than Trevor Lawrence at his current deal.
But yeah, look at this.
Lawrence is making $55 million per year. Here's the thing. If you were to just ask me in a bubble, who do I think is a better quarterback, Geno Smith or Trevor Lawrence? I'm taking Geno Smith over Trevor Lawrence. It doesn't even have to do with money. Dak Prescott at $60 million or Geno Smith at basically a $37 million deal? It's Geno Smith, and it's not even close, y'all.
So I would say yes, only because of the injury concerns. Because Dak, he hasn't, the past 3 years, he hasn't been healthy. He's been
Trevor
out.
Lawrence, though.
Oh, no, I was saying for the Geno over Dak debate with their contracts.
Even if you didn't put in the contracts, where do you rank Dak Prescott as a QB? I rank him.
He's better than Geno.
I don't totally disagree with that.
Healthy Dak, we saw he was top 3 MVP voting 1 year. I don't. Healthy Dak, but that's the problem. He hasn't been healthy for the past 3 years.
But I don't view Dak as a top 10 quarterback. I think he's 9, 10, 11. And Geno in my mind, and I swear, honestly, I look at him as, 13, 14, 15, 16. And for that big of a difference in price, basically half the price. And the other big part about the Dak contract is he's got a no-trade clause in there. And his guarantees, if they were to move on from him, it's $120 million dead cap hit.
It's actually funny. And whenever you have some free time this weekend, you should check it out. Dak's agents were talking about kind of the nuances of his deal with the Cowboys and how they kind of went about his contract extension. And before he was remember he was franchise tagged those multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Salazar, you're in.
Dak's agents basically had podcast where they were talking all about it. They bit the Cowboys over in negotiations.
Yeah.
They basically said, you're going to franchise tag us, you're going to give us our deals, or we're hitting the open market, and we don't care. Because they offered him a 5-year, $100 million guaranteed contract before they franchise tagged him. They said no. And then the smartest thing they did, the smartest thing that I caught up from it, and if you like the nuances of the NFL contracts, the smartest thing that they did was, remember, because they franchise tagged Dak.
Yep.
And then an hour later,
Yeah.
they gave him the contract. So his agents forced the Cowboys to franchise tag him a second time. No, because once you're franchise tagged twice, you can't get franchised again.
Yeah, that's
So
smart.
they said, we'll sign it only if you franchise tag him
and it's more
another
money.
time.
And it's more money.
Well, no, they like the Cowboys were going to give him that in the contract extension regardless. Like they were going to make up the money.
But my point is, though, if you're an agent and you look at what the deal is on a franchise tag, and then as soon as you get the franchise tagged again, it's an automatic 120% of what that deal was. So if I was the agent, I'd go, I would negotiate on the 120% deal.
Once they signed the deal, the franchise tag was null and void.
I got you. All right, let's keep it moving here on the Raiders Report, which...
this is a good question.
Why can't I comment? Did you guys stop me?
It might be because
you're not
subscribed.
So there are certain days where I only do, we call it sub-only mode, and the people that you see commenting on this video are all subscribed to the Raiders Report, which I always laugh at when people are like, I hate this channel, I'm not sub, blah, 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 and they're commenting, and I'm like, I hate to break it to you. You're proving to me that you are. There's just sometimes, when breaking news happens, I want to be able to interact with people that, for one, are Raiders fans, for one, are people that support this show. But, if you're just hate watching, like, I don't need to see your comments. I'll just let you hate watch. If you want to enjoy a good time, then, hey, get down in the comment section and let's have a good time.
Christian.
What up, Christian? 4th or 5th, maybe even Mayors for Olave. I don't know what I mean by 4th or 5th. I mean, you're not going to trade Michael Mayer for, Olave, right? Like the Saints, the Saints aren't going to do that.
You have to add in a second-round pick.
Oh, unless he's saying maybe a 4th rounder and Michael Mayer for Olave. But again, that's like, no disrespect to Michael Mayer. There's no team that views him that way. I would say teams probably view Mayer right now as a 5th-round pick. So, a 4th and a 5th isn't going to be enough for Olave. When I talked to Trace out there, who is our Saints guy, he wanted a 1st. That's not going to happen.
No.
I would say right now you're probably looking at a 2nd. Even that I don't think happens. 3rd-round pick for Chris Olave. If it was a 3rd and Michael Mayer for Olave, then maybe that deal ends up getting done. Let's go to my man Rhino. Been sub since 2019, under 1K subs. Love the show. Can you bring back the OG intro song?
The only thing is, the whole intro has people who aren't on the team anymore.
What was the old intro song?
You remember it was that rap song where it was like...
Oh, yeah. Also, I don't mess around with Graf anymore. That guy, F that dude. So, no, I'm not going to do that. But, I mean, we've had, like, different, intro songs throughout the course of the years that we've been doing this. If you want me to bring back an OG, I would say probably, like, let me bring back, like, the silver suit. Though, I'll be real. I don't think I could fit in the silver suit anymore. It's tight, dude. But from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate people that have been along the ride for, as long as what you have been here.
Did you read the bottom half?
So, Raider Nation, your boy is going to be a dad. Oh, man. Hey, real quick, can we get some congrats down below for Rhino? Is this your first kid, dude? I guess, right? Yeah. Going to be a dad. First kid. It's a boy. How did you find? Did you do like a gender reveal? How'd you do that? Are you gonna do a gender reveal?
Well, we're not. To my knowledge, we're not pregnant yet. So.
Well, no, I'm just saying like if it had like there's some people who are like I won't do a gender. Like some people in my family are very against it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, honestly, if Alex wants to, we're probably gonna do it.
Yeah.
If Alex is like no. Probably not going to do it.
Same. I'm just along for the ride. Rhino said, yeah, first kid.
Oh, dude, congratulations.
Can anybody – so I know it might be a large ask. Mm-hmm. Can we get some $2 super chats with some fatherly advice for Rhino?
Oh, I like
Anybody
this.
have any good first-time dad advice? Let Rhino know. Maybe me and Mitch might bookmark this show for later on whenever we need it.
Click.
Alex, what are we going to do? Hold on. Let me go to the Geno Smith live.
Let me go to the Geno Smith live from 8 years ago.
If anybody has any good advice for Rhino, though, let him know.
Let's do it. What up, Gabriel? Jalen Walker.
Did a video.
All I'll say is you might see that name later. What up, Flex? I see you down there, man. Honestly, we should draft Sanders at 6. Trevion Henderson in the second round. What do y'all think? Hate this idea. And what I love about this is how different things can change in just a few months. You know what I mean? And where, back in November, December, we're doing shows around, like, let's tank for Shedeur Sanders and let's do all this stuff. It's not that I don't like Shedeur. It's just I'm not going to take him at number 6 where there's just so many other better players out there. I would rather the Raiders go out and get, like an Armin Membu, a Will Campbell. I think Will Johnson is a good player. I think Jalen Walker is a name that y'all got to keep in mind. I think even somebody along the lines of like a Mason Graham's a possibility. I think Ashton Genty is a possibility. And I know Genty is a very, very popular pick, but at the exact same time, like Trevion Henderson, what makes him so interesting is his ability to catch the football. But his pass protection is some of the best that I've seen in this class. Like him and Taj Brooks, I think, are almost like the two best pass protectors that can also catch the football in this class. Taj, you can get probably in round 6, maybe round 5, a little bit later on. He's from Texas Tech. But I love what Trevion Henderson offers. He doesn't have the best vision at times, which does scare me in the NFL. But if you're looking to be in a spread-it-out offense that can really chuck the rock, personally, I think the way that the Raiders try to use Raheem Mostert is the way Trevion Henderson was used last year in Chip Kelly's offense. Let's go to Nav. What up, Nav? Me being a dad and good husband, the only things that stand above the nation. Congrats, bro. Be a great dad. I know you will. And I think, honestly, the number one thing, I think when it comes to being a dad, and I'm not a dad, I'm a dog dad for Chuck, but my dad, that's my best friend. That's the guy that's always, gone to bat for me. And I think at the end of the day, it's just about being there. My dad, I can still remember to this day, I hit my very first T-ball home run. He missed it. He quit his job, which at the time he was making, 6 figures where I live in central Pennsylvania. It's still a lot of money. But 20 years ago, that's a crazy amount. Went from making 6 figures, then he went all the way down to making, Dad, hope you don't get mad at me, less than, $30K a year. But he did it to, spend more time with me, to be able to see me. And I think that's one of the big things of why we're so close to this day. And that's why that's my guy, and I'll always go to bat for my guy. What up, Screaming Chicken? No effing way, dude. I haven't seen Screaming Chicken since we literally hung out in Las Vegas. This is the day where I met Jeremy Cole. He gave me his chip. Blue was there also. Yep. Dude, that was a fun day. Mind sending me my jersey, boss. By the way, tell Chugs I don't know what that is. The Pingus. Is there Tingus Pingus? What is that? There's that basketball player.
I'm afraid if I have that on screen for too long, we might get banned. I don't know what
Porzingis,
that is.
Do the Rockets play Porzingis? That's my only guess. That's my only guess. Screaming Chicken, I will do my best to do a mental note of that. I promise you I really will. If you have to, pull up on the show again and be like, Mitch, where's my jersey? I'll write it down, though. Lil Watts, hey, guys, y'all think we sign a receiver now? I would say that there's more of a possibility that it happens because I was wondering for 2 reasons, right? First, you got to see how the Geno Smith contract looks, and that way you know which receivers are out there. But also at the exact same time, if I was a receiver, I would want to know what type of deal to sign with the Raiders because, yesterday, a few hours ago, Geno Smith only had a 1-year, $31 million deal. If I'm a receiver, now I know for a fact that Geno's going to be this team's quarterback for the next 3 seasons. And if I was a guy like, Tyler Lockett or, Keenan Allen, that would make me want to sign a deal a little bit more, maybe there's a few more years tapped into it, which if I was Keenan, I would try to get a deal kind of like what Stephon Diggs did, not in terms of money at all, but I would try to get a 3-year deal for Keenan. Let's say that's probably $30 million with, let's say, $18 million guaranteed in that or something, which would be a little bit of a steeper price tag. Don't get me wrong, but there's more guarantees. 3 years, $30 million. I think getting a receiver now is a lot more of a possibility than what it was before. That's what I think. Appreciate you, Lil Watts. Appreciate you, man. We did just cross 1,000 likes, so my story around Jeremy Chin is this. So I know Jeremy Chin. I don't know why the NFL is doing it, and it's not a bad story by any means. I thought it was kind of funny. One of my cousins, she works for Dior, like the brand Dior, and Jeremy Chin, it was a few days ago, was working at one of the Diors, and they had him like working as like a clerk, just trying to get him trained. And essentially what Dior was trying to do is, because so many NFL players obviously rock luxury brands like that, they wanted to try to just show him what it's like to work, outside of football. But my Jeremy Chin story was he was working at Dior, and I got all these pictures of him working at Dior. So maybe he's got something lined up after the Raiders, but he did just sign a $16 million deal. So I don't know. I don't think he's got to work at Dior. Maybe
we have another deal as well that just came down, not for the Raiders.
I'm listening.
But will impact the Raiders. I think maybe we talk about this later on. The Cardinals are making Pro Bowl tight end Trey McBride the highest paid tight end in NFL history.
I'm listening.
4 years, $76 million. The deal includes $43 million guaranteed and $19 million average per year. Now, we had a debate the other day when Brock Bowers is up for his deal.
Yep.
Does he look at the tight end market or does he look at the wide receiver market?
I think Brock Bowers is going to destroy what tight ends get. I mean, he is going to destroy the tight end market. I mean, with the number that he's going to get, and it's not, I mean, again, Trey McBride is a good tight end.
And Navman, you're right. It won't affect the Raiders for, in essence,
so because Bowers was drafted in the first year, or was drafted in round 1, he's going to have a 5th-year option. However, I think what you're going to see is when a player is just as good as Bowers, right, you just don't want to risk anything.
After year 3. So I think two more years.
I agree. So you do a deal after year 3 because technically if you wait after that 4th year, if the salary cap goes up, well, then he's going to get some more money on top of that. And we know that the Raiders are going to want to keep Brock Bowers, right? Like,
so
knock on wood, but
I know it's 2 years down the road, and Nico kind of beat me to it. I know it's 2 years down the road. If McBride is getting 19 a year, in 2 years, predict how much do you think Bowers will get per year on a contract?
2 years from now?
If McBride is getting 19 per year right now,
yep.
In 2 years.
27.
Nico said 25.
Okay. Now, there's 2 ways you can look at it. If Brock Bowers does what Brock Bowers did his rookie year, he's getting 27. Like, he's going to, bro, I'm telling you right now, he's going to get a very high number.
And this is what we were talking about. If Brock Bowers, if Michael Mayer comes back, he kind of works in the tight end, and Brock Bowers is this wide receiver tight end flex, does he look at, hey, T. Higgins, who's a wide receiver 2, got $30 million a year. If he's the second best wide receiver on the Raiders, does he look at that and say, hey, I want wide receiver 2 money. I want T. Higgins money.
Dude. Sorry, I'm trying to tweet. The Geno Smith extension is great.
James K said might get 30. Jeff said 25 to 27. Miguel says 27.
Now again, I'm basing
Toasty said Brock will get partial ownership of the Raiders.
Well, what's also going to be really interesting is we talked about this. It was a few weeks ago, and what we talked about was the NFL in the year 2028, 2029 is scheduled to have a brand new licensing with with the TV media or whatever the hell it is. So because you're going to get a new deal there, they're expected to go more and more money in the year 2028. Which makes it interesting of, again, why this Geno Max Crosby deal I think are very intriguing. But I think Brock Bowers is going to be around that $27 million mark in 2 years from now. And we're going to look at that deal as honestly probably being a steal because Brock Bowers is going to be worth every single penny. The only way it doesn't happen is, unfortunately, is if he does end up getting hurt, which, knock on wood, because I can't deal with an injured Brock Bowers, man. It'd break my heart. Where do we rank against the league offense, defense-wise? Offense, right now, I'd probably say we're not in the top 16. And then even on defense, we're probably right around 16. I do think that we have a legit defensive line. I mean, I think we have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. I'm not afraid to say that from just an overall talent perspective. Our linebacker room is really weak. Our cornerback room, I think, is a lot better than what people give it credit for. Our free safety room is absent. We need a free safety. But because we have 9 picks, because we have, Spytek and Carroll, who all they've ever done is succeed in the NFL draft and being able to build, a team kind of like the way the Raiders are right now. But also on top of that, I really think the Raiders are going to try to trade back, dude. I think I would not shock me at all if the Raiders try to trade back and they just try to accumulate more picks. Because if I was an NFL team, I would try to get so many effing picks in the top 120. Because there was just a massive drop-off in talent after the top 120 picks. And if you're the Raiders, you maybe try to snag a quarterback on day 3 a little bit later that's got some high upside. What do you got for me?
Before I go to this next super, I was very confused until I remembered that Rhino is going to be a new dad. And all these next super chats are dad advice.
Okay, I got you. Don't be afraid of projectile pooping. It happens.
I had to look back. I was like, what is he talking about?
You're like, how did we end up getting here? I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, though, like picking up after a dog, I didn't love when I had to do it before. Picking up after Chuck doesn't bother me at all. It's probably the same thing. Nav.
Yeah.
Instill shield values immediately.
Comes out of shield.
Shield values. No, I got you, though, Nav. Family first. Aggressive. Don't feed them after 12 a.m. or get them wet. That's a good one. Marlon, enjoy every moment you get. They grow up fast. I mean, it's crazy to think like Chuck's almost, he's going to be 5 years old next year. Mm-hmm. What the hell? Flex, Sanders draft tanked on purpose for us to draft him. I'll be real. I think there's a better chance the Raiders get Sanders at 37 than 6. Like I don't see a world where the Raiders take Shedeur Sanders at number 6. Now, I say that, and this offseason has already been filled with a lot of surprises, and I don't think that that's all that far-fetched to say, but Sanders at 6 is not going to happen. What up, Mark Morrison? What do you think? Membu round 1, Henderson round 2, sign a vet wide receiver, and which receiver? I'm okay with this idea, and I am probably in the minority of being on board for wanting to take Armin Membu, offensive tackle from Missouri, at pick number 6. But to me, it's not that I don't like DJ Glaze. Glaze showed some promise last year, and I do think that there's some upside to Glaze. But then I also just look at what Spytek has done and the way Spytek teams have succeeded, and just the importance of having a great offensive line for Geno Smith. It's not so much I don't like DJ Glaze. It's you're investing in Geno, right? Like, if you're making an investment in Geno, that's what you're doing by taking Armin in round 1. So I'll be real. Like, I am okay with that idea. And then if you want to take Trevion Henderson in round 2, I'm okay with that idea as well. The vet wide receiver that I would say the most likely are Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Keenan Allen. But I'd also be on board with a dude like Elijah Moore. I know he's not a vet, but that's somebody I'd be on board with. What up, Raider Prime? Ashton at 6. Shedeur in the 2nd. I believe in Chip Kelly. I believe in Chip Kelly too, but this might even surprise you. Like, I don't want Jackson Dart at 37. I don't even know if I want Shedeur at 37. I am a believer of Geno is going to be this team's quarterback for the next 2 to 3 years. So that means Shedeur's not going to play for the next 2 to 3 years, and that means then at that point, you might get him for 1 year on a rookie contract. Like, I know what Shedeur would do for, like, the Raiders brand. I totally get that, but I'm trying to win football games more than just build a brand. And taking Shedeur in round 2nd, I actually think would limit that ability to win games right away. Kids make a lot of mistakes. You both learn for them. And I think everybody's got to learn from mistakes. One of the things that was told to me recently that's always, like, sat with me is, like, you think about your parents and you think about your mom, your dad. For me, it was the first time that they were ever a mom and her dad, right? Like there's a learning curve with it. And I think as a parent, you look at it as that other side, whereas a kid, you don't really look at it from that standpoint. But you both got to learn from it. And I'm excited to be able to do it. But Rhino, congrats, dude. Richard Black, number 6, Membu, and number 37, Trevion Henderson, since Geno has been extended. I am on board with this. I think the amount of options that the Raiders can go with their first 2 picks gives me so much confidence because I do believe in this regime. Like, I believe in the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe in their ability to go out and draft. I believe in their ability to, look at talent and get the most out of it. When you see all of those things, I believe in the Raiders. I really do, man. Mo Shub, I just saw you're trying to get in for the duck race. Mo, my man, you, sir, are in. Also, today, we are going to be doing some awards for whoever is the MVP of today's show, which means whoever bangs the most on the Raiders Report, you're going to be able to be a sponsor on a future Raiders Report segment. So earlier in the week, we showed some love to Navman and abc.org, which was just showing love to all the people that do a lot of trade work, which is, carpenters to welders to mechanics to, I'm sure there's a lot of other jobs in that realm. Navman, help me out. But at the same time, I want to be able to figure out ways to, show love to some of the stuff y'all do. Like, I know we've showed love to Justin Abgen's Plumbing Company. If you own a company and you want to be able to be a sponsor on an episode, today's a good day to be an MVP. So, if you want a chance to get a Raiders Sport hat, we're doing a $100 Venmo. You get a Raiders Sport hat. I'm going to do every $100 super chat is a beer bong. When we came up with this idea, it was before the breaking news around Geno Smith. So, every bang, I'm going to do a beer bong. Every $20 is going to be into the Venmo duck race, which, again, right now it would be a $20 Venmo. You would have a shot to win $100, and we're going to do that race at the very, very end of today's show, which, speaking of races, we also have a lot of March Madness races that we need to do. And if anybody wants to be entered in for a chance to win a draft hat, $5 super chat, you're in. We're going to do that one at the very, very end of today's show. So we got 1,300 people here in the building right now. Chugs and I do have some other segments that I would like to be able to, talk about, would like to be able to discuss on this episode. And the Geno Smith show, that one's already out. We've kind of broke it down. If you guys want us to answer more questions around Geno, please don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Hit us up. But I do already have a mailbag. I want to do that one. And I want to do the other segment. The offensive line one we can just do probably next week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
No, you're good. You're good. Sounds good. All good. I remember you said something, but I didn't remember exactly what it was. But cool. We got 1,400 people here in the building, y'all. Rabin said no Venmo. It's all good, man. It's all good. We got a few people that are trying to get in. I see my man Timmy Jones. Timmy Jones, you in. I got you. Sean Irish, I got you. Steven Pena, you in. Sean Morgan, you in. $20 Venmo right now for a chance to win $140 here on the show. Ricky Ann says, let's go, Mitch. Ricky Ann, I'm pumped, dude. I am really excited about this Raiders move. I'm happy that I feel like that they, did something smart. And it's not only that they did something smart, it's a good value for Geno Smith. Like, I'm not surprised now when I really see how, and I want to see exactly how the Geno contract is structured by a year-by-year basis because we don't have that information yet. At least I don't think we do. No, we still don't have that yet. But once we do, I want to see how it gets broken down by a year-by-year basis. Well, when you walk into the studio and make that noise, it actually scared the shit out of me, dude. Scared the absolute shit out of me. One more soup, and then we're going to get into the next segment coming up here on the show. 2 more soups, which somebody said, Mitch, you owe another one for Nabs earlier. All right, I got you. So you want to do all 4 of the March Madnesses at the end. Cool. Oh, wake me up one time. Wake me up before you go. All right, so the first one that we're going to do is going to be the Joe Milton thing. All right, cool. Yeah, I will put it out tomorrow. People will understand. You guys will get it. You'll understand. All right, let's roll through these supers, and then we'll get into the next segment up here on the show. And again, If you are just tuning in, we always go live on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. But we decided to go live a little bit earlier today just because of the breaking news around Geno Smith. Cameron, Mitch, say the Raiders trade back for some extra picks. Would they make a blockbuster trade, and who might that be? I mean, if they trade back, that's a pretty blockbuster trade if you ask me. I don't think that they're going to go out and make like a big deal for any player currently, like right now. That I don't really think is going to happen. But if they end up trading back, they're going to be able to accumulate more picks, which is something that I know that this team does want to be able to do. The only other like blockbuster trade I would say is if they try to trade up and they try to go get somebody. In all honesty, the person that I would say is probably the most likely that they would try to trade up for in round one would be they would try to package maybe like their second and their third to get back up into round one. The name I'll throw out is Emeka Egbuka. And I only say that because of the Chip Kelly ties and also what he brings to the table from a skill standpoint. It's honestly very similar to another former Ohio State receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who also was really good with Geno Smith last season. And Geno really relied on him in some big-time situations. But any trade in the NFL draft, man, is a blockbuster trade in my book. Let's go to Cobain, draft Graham, Campbell or Membu at 6, and take Emeka if he's there at 37. He's just not going to be there at 37. I would say a receiver that's got a shot to be there at 37 that I didn't think was going to be there was Luther Burden, which he's kind of fallen down some draft boards a little bit. But Emeka to me, just because so many receivers or so many teams need receivers in that 20 to 21, 22, 23, 24 range. There's a lot of teams. I just don't see him getting out of that. Like, there's going to be 4 receivers taken in round 1. Nav, a running back at 6 is crazy. Genty, yes, he is a stud, but too many options late. Why Genty stay at Boise? Loyal or just worried his stats drop if the SEC or Big Ten? Question is a thought. I mean, I'll look at it like this. I know that now people have the opportunity to hop into a transfer portal and go to other, programs and whatnot. But if I was Genty and I did truly love Boise and I knew that I was going to be the workhorse and I knew that I was going to probably be a top 10 pick in the draft and I was going to be a Heisman finalist, I do think it's about sometimes doing what's best for you. And I don't think anybody can argue with what Ashton Genty did. Like, he was a finalist for the Heisman. He's going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. They made the college football playoffs. I don't. You bring up a lot of things that I'll entertain. This isn't going to be one. I do agree that the running back draft class is deep, and that's why you should pass on Genty. But if you really want to go best player available, like I don't know how many players are going to be better than Ashton Genty at number 6. I'll leave it like that. Lord, what up, man? Draft hat sounds good. So happy with Geno's extension. Let's go. Hey, real quick, can we get some LCAs down below for the MVP for the month of March, Lord Cameron Abbott. My dude, my guy, he was absolutely insane last month. I mean, he's insane a lot of months. Also, Lord, I'm happy that, your health's where you want it to be. I know that you had a lot of stuff going on, but it's good to have you here, man. It's all love. Shout out to Lord Cameron Abbott. That's my dog right there. That's my dog right there. I see Mark Prosser. Mark, did you get your hat yet? John Simpson Ravens. I see you down there. Nav, the Gooner, Jack Kenna, Dreadhead, John Fallon, all showing love to Lord Cameron Abbott. Coming up here next on the show, I'm going to do you guys want to do a deal? I'm kind of down to do a deal. Down to do a deal? Every single 50 during this segment is a bang and a bong. I'm not going to do it during this segment. I'll do it after. But it's going to basically be like a tuna clock. I don't know. Geno Smith breaking news. I got a 3-day weekend. I'm ready to get after it. And maybe that's just an excuse for me to get after it, but I'm down to get after it. I'm trying to get this goose pretty loose. I'm not going to lie. Speaking of a loose goose, Rustin Long, you in? Oh, dude, that goose on him is always loose. I don't know if Rustin's goose has never been not loose. Josh I, you in? You know who else has got a really loose goose? Tony Knutson. With a name like Knutson, you know his goose is luge. And then also, Timothy Bush. It's got a feathery goose. I don't know. We try too hard sometimes. We definitely try a little bit too much sometimes. Though, Jeremy, I do actually have to send you something before I forget. When you get a second. Reminder, the 2 MVPs so far on today's show, 93 Navman and Josh I. The MVPs so far here on today's program. Navman, Josh I, both tied with 1 bangs as it stands right now. Whoever is the MVP of today's show, you get to be the sponsor. Where literally, like, if you wanted to say, hey, today's show is presented by Josh I. Bang! You could end up doing it. And then, Josh, whatever you want to talk about, I'll be able to talk about anything you want to be able to talk about. Josh I. What is that? Oh, I didn't know where we were going. Chugs goes, ay, which... Josh, out of the eye. Josh,
I was hoping you were going to read it like Josh, I.
I mean, that sounds like when Mario dies after having a mushroom. Josh, Josh, all I need you to do in that Venmo is send me your first and last name.
Quickly, in the comment section, what color are your eyes? Go. What color are your eyes? Mitch, I'm going to close my eyes. What color are my eyes? Do you know?
Your eyes are brown?
Mm-mm.
They're not brown?
No.
Green?
No, they're brown.
I was going to say. now I was like worried. I was waiting for magenta or pink.
Raider Prime. Gray eyes? I don't believe that. Glenn, red. Nice. Brown, blue, green, blue, brown. Anthony, I'm guessing your eyes are green?
Maybe. Maybe. No, I've talked to Anthony Green. I'll be honest. I don't think they're green. I'm pretty sure they're brown eyes.
Steven Gutierrez currently red.
Yep.
Jonathan Pink.
You got to quit sniffing your pillow, dude. I just see Jonathan Smith. He just wakes up every morning and he's just like, not again. Not again, dude. Josh I, so far today's MVP.
MVP.
That's what we should have put. Josh MVP. No, it's a lot to say. Out of the eye. There we go. Out of the eye. All right, I'm going to throw this one back real quick here from my man. Oop, spilt a little bit there. Oh, you got to be quicker than that. Oh. I got you $1. What do you got for me?
The boxes in the corner before we do this next segment. Evil Mitch said, I'm a Marvel Rivals god. I have been putting in some work on Marvel Rivals, Evil Mitch. I'm actually almost Lord on Namor. I'm not lying. Mitch, I'm not lying. I'm almost Lord on Namor. I'm like this close.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything you just said.
Dude, I'm nasty with him.
Say that one more time.
I'm almost Lord with Namor.
You're almost Lord with Namor. If you put that sentence together and said, "Why? Like, where is this from?" You give me a million guesses, and I don't think I'm getting it. I literally don't think so.
If anybody out there plays Marvel Rivals, hit me up. Actually, my name on Marvel Rivals is just Jeremy_Chugs, but my PS5 name is JewEagle96.
Which, there was one day I was taking Chuck out, and I was so excited to send Jeremy this picture. There was a van that drove by me, and it was a giant eagle with a Star of David on that van, and I sent Jeremy a picture. I'm like, dude, is this you? I mean, if that license plate would have said 96 on it, I might have lost my mind.
Raven said, Chugs, did you get my hashtag Raiders? So if you did, yes, if you did hashtag Raiders, I have it in there. Well, it won't go in the mailbag because we need Raiders questions. But Raven said, Mitch, do a 4-round mock draft contest with anyone that bangs. Interesting.
All right, how about this? I'll make you guys a deal right now. Starting right now. Because this was something that I was thinking about doing, and I didn't really know how to do it the other day. It's could be a fun way to do this show. How about Josh you're good. The next 8 people that bang on Venmo, you can participate in a Raiders mock draft with me. So you know how every year I usually do like a content creator mock draft? You know what I mean? So I always do like a content creator mock draft, which I'll probably end up doing again this year. But whoever's the MVP, Josh, if you still want to sponsor the show, I'll let you sponsor the show. Whoever's the MVP, though, if you bang on Venmo, I'm going to just kind of slot you in. Whoever bangs the most, I'll give you the number 1 pick. So technically, Josh, you're already locked in. The next 8 people that bang on Venmo, you're going to be in our mock draft. And I'll put together, because I'll have Venmo, so I'll be able to text you guys and I'll be able to comment on what we're doing. Just all the communication will be on Venmo. You can make the picks. I'll react to them, and we'll do it kind of like that. That's kind of interesting.
Steven, your eyes are definitely red after your latest comment. I know, you don't have to prove that your eyes are red.
It's a lot of money.
Yes.
It's a lot of money. I'm not going to lie to you. Quite frankly, I think Richie would get mad at me if I didn't.
I was going to say, no Diddy, I'd do it for half the amount. 50 mil? Yeah.
I mean, it's an unbelievable amount of money.
Yeah. Just my grandkids. Do you know how Papa made all his money? I actually saw it.
Yeah, how much time do you got? It's going to haunt you.
And Steven, with that comment, you won't even want to know the debate we had in the office a week ago around this.
It wasn't a good one. It was not a good one. I don't even know if we can talk about it. Jose Salas, you, sir, are in. Yeah, I don't think that we can even talk about it, quite frankly.
All right, let's get into this next.
Yeah, let's get into this before we get deleted.
Yeah.
Before we get deleted on YouTube.
With thumbs wide open.
What a question by Nigel. I'll tell you this. We get a few more beers in me, and I might answer that honestly.
You actually think about the cosmos.
Oh, is it Adam and Eve? I don't remember. All right, that was wild. Coming up, we're gonna get into some must-see Raiders rumors today, and I'm just gonna tell everybody that's watching the show, you will end up getting this video tomorrow, so just keep that on the lookout. But I got a fun little show on tap for everybody tuned in right now. We got over 1,000 people here in the building, which I appreciate everyone tuning in for the breaking news around Geno Smith. But we have some other segments that we got to get to. Cameron, the contract details for Geno Smith, it was a 2-year deal, $75 million, worth up to $85.5 million, with $66.5 million guaranteed. So the way that you should look at that is the $75 million plus already the $31. So it's 3 years at $106 million, which technically can be 3 years, probably worth up to $116 million. And if I had to guess what the incentives are, it's probably passing touchdowns, passing yards, wins / makes the playoffs. It's probably very similar to what Geno had with the Seattle Seahawks before. But Geno previously also could make $10 million in incentives, and it was $2 million for every single incentive that he ended up making. But the important number there to look at, though, Cameron, is the guarantees. $66.5 million guarantees is the 17th most guaranteed money at the quarterback position. So because of that, I think actually the Geno Smith deal is a steal. Like, if if you would have told me when the Raiders traded for Geno Smith back on March 7th that this was going to be the contract extension that they gave, I don't know if I actually would have believed you, quite frankly. I would have said he would have just stayed with Seattle if he would have got this deal. This proves to me that he wanted to come to the Raiders. Like, I really think that, I mean, it was reported that, he was looking for 45 to 40 million. I think that this almost proves that he didn't really want to stay in Seattle anymore. I don't blame him with that offensive line, and he wanted to go to a different organization. He probably wanted to follow Pete. He probably wanted to go with Tom Brady. Probably wanted to go with John Spytek. It's a great contract for the Raiders. It's a great contract for Geno Smith. You ready? Coming up here on the show, let's get into the latest around the Raiders, and there was some interesting NFL news today, which, kind of impacts the Raiders, and now on top of the Geno Smith contract, we're going to talk a lot about some quarterbacks. We're going to talk a little bit about Devin White, but anytime big NFL news happens, I like to figure out how it could impact the Raiders, and today's show is going to be a good one. So coming up, let's get into some must-see Raiders rumors. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, with some must-see Raiders rumors from today. I am recording this show live on April 3rd. It was right after the breaking news that the Las Vegas Raiders extended Geno Smith, so you might see this on a later date. But I am going to be breaking down some must-see Raiders rumors. Before I get into that, though, some other news that happened today around the Silver and Black. Some off-season workout dates have been put out there. The first day is going to be April 8th. Then voluntary minicamp. This is for, the newly signed players, if you will. April 21st to the 23rd. Then the OTA off-season workouts. They're going to start May 19th. They're going to go to the 21st to the 22nd, 27th, 29th to the 30th. Then June 2nd to June 5th. Mandatory minicamp for the Raiders does end up starting on June 10th. Now, it's not going to be mandatory again to go until that June 10th date. You are also going to start seeing some just win babies, which for those that don't know what the rumor meter means, it's if I give something for just win babies, it means it's 100% accurate. Believe it, baby. If something is 0, we like to say tuck rule, tuck that, and it's not true at all. So the very first one is the Raiders. They were interested in Joe Milton. Joe Milton today ended up getting traded to the Dallas Cowboys. We'll kind of break down what that compensation was. But this is for just win babies. Believe it, baby. The Raiders were 100% interested in Joe Milton, which I was a little bit interested to find that out, but it was reported by Jordan Schultz. My understanding is since Joe Milton became available at the start of the offseason, teams that showed interest, including the Raiders, Eagles, Giants, Steelers, and the Cowboys. The Patriots had a better offer for Milton, but chose to send him where he wanted out of respect for him per sources. So Milton wanted to go to the Dallas Cowboys because his family grew up Cowboys fans, so that's where he wanted to end up going. I would love to know what the other team was willing to offer and how much it was, but this is what the trade ended up being. The Cowboys end up getting quarterback Joe Milton. They also got a 7th-round pick. In exchange, New England ended up getting a 5th-round pick at 171. I'll be 100% honest with you. When I hear what was reported by Jordan, it's not that I don't disagree with it, but what I end up seeing is honestly, it wasn't that much bigger of a deal. I still think the Patriots did what was best for them because, yeah, they might feel bad about the whole Joe Milton situation, but the New England Patriots have been trying to get rid of Milton the entire offseason because we already knew he does not fit what Josh McDaniels wants to do on the offensive side of the football. So to me, when I saw this Joe Milton deal go down, the Raiders being interested in Joe Milton to me means that they're looking for another quarterback. And the show that you're seeing right now is a show that I scripted before the Geno Smith contract extension ended up going down. And I have been somebody that's confidently set up here, and I said, I believe the Raiders end up taking a quarterback a little bit later on, potentially on day 3. But quarterback 2 right now as it stands, it's Aiden O'Connell. But we know Pete Carroll wants to be able to add competition. The Raiders were interested in Zach Wilson earlier this offseason. Obviously, they did not end up bringing him in. But if you're interested in Joe Milton, you're interested in a guy like Zach Wilson, that means you know that you got your guy Geno Smith, who's going to be your quarterback for the next 3 seasons, and you know that you wanted to be able to have somebody that was going to learn underneath Geno for multiple years, and that's what Joe Milton would have been. I look at the Raiders right now seeing they were interested in Milton. They just gave Geno Smith a contract extension. This team is planning to develop a quarterback behind Geno Smith. So again, when I structured this video, Geno didn't get a deal done yet. Now the fact that the Geno deal is already done, this one is, again, 4 just win babies, believe it, baby. And I don't want to sit up here and pat my back too much. Y'all probably hate me when I do that. But by giving Geno Smith a contract like they did, which was 2 years, $75 million worth up to $85.5 million with $66.5 guaranteed. Technically, you're looking at a 3-year deal right around $106 million when you already slap on the deal that he had. The Raiders believe in Geno Smith. The Raiders believe in a quarterback who is accurate. A quarterback, Geno Smith accuracy ranking in the year 2024, second most accurate quarterback in the NFL. In 2023, 2022, and 2021, ranked as the number 1 most accurate quarterback in the National Football League. Those are some pretty good numbers, if you ask me. So are the Raiders planning on developing a quarterback? Yes, they're planning on developing a quarterback, but this shouldn't surprise you. This has been the plan, y'all, all along, right? Like, this, for anybody that watches this show religiously, you know that I've been saying the Raiders' plan all along is to develop a quarterback for multiple seasons. So the fact that the Raiders were interested in trading for Milton, that tells me that they were interested in developing a quarterback. John Spytek just the other day said Geno is going to be with us for years to come. This regime also didn't draft Aiden O'Connell, and developing a quarterback has been the Tom Brady plan. So coming up here, I'm going to tell you which quarterbacks are on the Raiders' radar in terms of development. And every QB that I'm going to bring up has some sort of connection with the silver and black already. I'm not just going to be throwing QBs at the wall saying there's a chance. Every quarterback you are going to see is 100% on the Raiders' radar, and I'll break down who those are in just a moment. But if you're not watching this live show, I'm live right now. I got over 1,000 people pulled up with us for the Geno Smith breaking news. If you missed the Geno Smith breaking news, it's probably because you're not subscribed. It's probably because you don't got those notifications on. Anytime big-time news happens, hell, anytime rumors happen, I'm going to make a video about it because I'm a diehard Raiders fan, and I know a lot of y'all are psychos just like me that just need some Raiders content 365 days out of the year. So let's talk about some of these quarterbacks that are on the Raiders' radar. Also, what I did is I reached out to Tom Downey, our NFL draft expert here at Chat Sports, and I asked, what grade would you give each player? So the grades that you're going to see are where Tom thinks that player ends up going. The first quarterback that I'm going to mention, Shedeur Sanders. The Raiders had a combine interview with him. Tom Brady has been a mentor for Shedeur since 2020. Tom thinks that a team should take him in round 2. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, actually. There is a chance Shedeur falls out of round 1, which might shock a lot of people. It would shock me as well. I don't think the Raiders end up taking him at number 6. I personally think the Raiders are going to wait until day 3 to take a quarterback. Let's go to another QB, though, that's on the Raiders' radar. Jackson Dart. He had a formal meeting with the Raiders at the NFL Combine. Also, high school teammates with Jackson Powers Johnson, and JPJ is going to be one of those pillar players, and because of Jackson's ability to throw the ball down the field, and because that's so critical in a Chip Kelly system, but you got to let Dart learn for at least 2 years. Like, he's not even close to being ready to play in the NFL. His footwork's bad. His technique is bad. Yes, he throws a pretty deep ball, but he needs time to be able to learn. I would say the highest quarterback that you're probably going to take in the draft is going to be Dart at 37. But I'll be real, I would be pretty disappointed in the Raiders if they ended up doing that because I just don't think that it's a smart option for this organization. Before we get into some more quarterbacks that are on the Raiders' radar, and quite frankly, the QBs that I think are the highest chance that the Raiders end up taking on the NFL draft, I do got to give a shout-out to our sponsor here, PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. You're going to be able to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. On PrizePicks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and much more. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. I know Geno Smith just signed his extension on the date that I am recording this video, but if you're looking to go more or less on anything Geno Smith related, the passing yards is the one that I would say is the easier of the two, though even 22.5 passing touchdowns, I'm going to go more on that. If the Raiders have a better offensive line than what he had in Seattle, which they already do right now, and it's not close, and then if the Raiders are able to go out and they're add, another piece or two, Geno Smith's going to throw for more than 3,500 yards. That one, I'm telling you that right now. So you can go more, you can go less. You can do that, which is season long. But also, man, we're talking about there's some great basketball games that are going to be coming up this weekend. We're talking about baseball seasons here. Hell, I went to a Mavs game the other day, and I took Alex. I was able to go with one of my buddies, and I don't really give a shit about basketball. I'm not going to lie to you. But when you got more or less on a game, when Alex is even invested, that tells me that PrizePicks is a lot of fun, and it's why I think a lot of y'all would have a good time doing it. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Make sure that you use code CLNS, and if you're trying to run your game all season long, make sure that you do it over on PrizePicks. Let's go to more quarterbacks on the Raiders' radar, and these next four are the ones that I would say right now are the most likely that the Raiders end up drafting. Will Howard just won a national championship with Chip Kelly, had a combine meeting and a top 30 visit. Tom believes he ends up getting drafted or should get drafted in round 4. Let's go to Jalen Milroe. I'm going to be real with you. Jalen Milroe is starting to turn into that sleeper QB that if you're interested in a project like Joe Milton, it means that you're confident in your ability to develop a quarterback. If you're confident in your ability to develop Joe Milton, then why wouldn't you be confident in Jalen Milroe, who is an absolute alien? He had a formal combine interview, had a top 30 visit, and because he is an insane athlete, and if you're interested in Milton, you got to be at least a little bit interested in Jalen. And the other part about Milroe's game, he's got it up here, and I heard from a very good Raiders source, the Raiders do like him, but they like him for up here. He is going to take time to develop, though. Let's go to another quarterback that's on the Raiders' radar. It's Kyle McCord, who the Raiders met with at the NFL Combine. And I know that there's no overlap with Chip Kelly, though there's got to be at least some overlap there with players, obviously, right? Coaches on that Ohio State team, and I bet you some players, some coaches know Kyle McCord, and because McCord was at Ohio State from the year 2021 to the year 2023, there's going to be a little bit of overlap there. Tom has him as a round 5 grade. Let's go to the quarterback that if I was a betting man right now, I might say Quinn Ewers might be the top pick, which Quinn wouldn't be the guy that I would go with for the Raiders, but he is the only one. He is the only quarterback that's got a top 30 visit who met at a pro day and met at the NFL Combine. There is not another quarterback in this year's draft that has all 3 of those things that I just mentioned. So Quinn is definitely on the radar, and I think when everybody talks about the type of quarterback that Quinn Ewers is, people say, like, he's got talent, and you can't deny his talent, but he needs a lot of time to be able to develop. And who better off to do that than somebody along the lines of Chip Kelly? So I think out of the day 3 quarterbacks, the top 4 most likely that could be drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders are Will Howard, Kyle McCord, Jalen Milroe, and Quinn Ewers. My question to the nation out there is this. If you had to pick a day 3 quarterback from the list of names that you see up here, would you go with Will Howard? Would you go with Jalen Milroe, Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers? My answer, honestly, if I had to pick between all 4 of those quarterbacks, the guy that I would go with, I'm going to go with Jalen Milroe, dude. And I'm going to go with Jalen Milroe because I believe in Chip Kelly. And I believe in this coaching staff. And if you end up picking Ashton Genty and you pair him with somebody like Jalen Milroe, I do find that to be very interesting. And I know Milroe had a bad year last season, but when you look at what he was in 2023 with Nick Saban, and then without Nick Saban, I'm just going to say losing Nick Saban probably hurt the Alabama program overall. If it's not, like, I would rank them as Jalen Milroe would be 1 for me. Kyle McCord would be number 2. Probably go Will Howard and then Quinn Ewers. Like, I'm not going to lie. Quinn scares me the most. He might have the most upside minus Jalen Milroe, though. Let's go to the last quarterback, though, that is also on the Raiders' radar, and it is Cam Miller. He is a quarterback from North Dakota State who had a top 30 visit with the Raiders. And top 30 visits, I would say, way more of importance than combine pro day visits. So when you're getting a top 30 visit, I would say Cam Miller's probably going to be one of these guys drafted in the 7th round, maybe somebody as a UDFA. He is a 2-time FCS national champion, and I actually was able to watch the game where North Dakota State played New Hampshire, and the kid from New Hampshire, I can't remember his name, but people call him like the FCS Johnny Manziel. He ended up winning the Heisman this past year. That battle between Miller and, I forget the other kid's name. We watched a lot of, honestly, North Dakota State football. We watched the very first game of the year was Colorado against North Dakota State, and I thought Miller looked pretty good at times. He is undersized, But what he's able to do and why I would say the Raiders are probably interested in him is he's able to go out there and execute on the offense. He's able to go out there and do exactly what you tell him to do. North Dakota State quarterbacks do make me nervous just because, they haven't done very well in the NFL, especially over the past few seasons. But if you're just getting a guy that can compete with Carter Bradley, this is the dude that I would say would potentially be a Carter Bradley battler for a UDFA of some sorts. Coming up, though, I got my final rumor of the day, and it's going to be around Devin White. And I knew Devin White was going to be a popular talking point, and this was somebody that I talked about a little bit, yesterday. Technically, I talked about him on Wednesday. But is Devin White going to be a starter for the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm going to give this one only one just win, baby. I'm going to say that there's a small shred of truth to this. If you were to put a Raiders roster out on the field right now, Devin White would probably be the starter next to, Landon Roberts. And I know John Spytek said that he believes in a resurgence for Devin White. Believes that he can be a weak side linebacker. However, though, money talks. And when you look at the contract that the Raiders ended up giving White, it was a one-year deal. Now, they gave him some cash. They gave him some extra cash, and it's technically like 1 year at $1.17 million. But I care more about the cap, and the cap is $1.03 million. And when you see that amount of money, that tells me that they don't view him as a true starting linebacker. They believe in him, and they want to believe in him, but there's no more risk anymore in the Devin White move. The Raiders are going to draft a linebacker. I'm very confident in saying that, and there's been a lot more, smoke. There's been a lot more rumors around the Raiders taking a linebacker a lot higher. And I don't remember which episode of the Raiders Report this was when I originally talked about it, but, we were talking about this team being interested in linebackers for months. When you also look at a lot of the NFL Combine linebacker visits that this team had, it's a lot of inside linebackers where, Jackson Woodard, a Carson Swessinger, a Danny Stutzman, a Cody Simon, all of those players I would have more confidence in than Devin White in year one, and I know that they're all rookies, but I just don't view Devin White as an every-down linebacker. If you let him be an athlete, if you let him be an edge, hey, he can pin his ears back, he can go out and go get them. Those are some inside linebacker prospects. There's also another linebacker prospect that could go number 6 overall, and I did a whole video on him on Sunday. You'll be able to check that out. A lot of smoke around that guy. But what's important to note here is this. I did a show a few months ago on a source that told us that the Raiders are doing a lot of homework on quarterbacks, offensive linemen, and linebackers. It was their top 3 focuses, which quarterback, all right, Geno Smith, I see that one happening, and doesn't surprise me. Offensive line, this team has really been trying to build in the trenches, and that's what John Spytek does. Linebacker, though, I would say they haven't really shown me that that's a big point of emphasis. Hearing that makes me wonder, could they end up taking a linebacker a little bit early, and are they viewing some linebackers as starters, which is why they went a little bit cheaper with Devin White and Landon Roberts. I will say this before I get out of here. If you're planning on pulling up for the NFL draft, I hope that you decide to pull up here on the Raiders Report. We had over 283,000 people join us. We went live for almost 21 total hours. You will see the picks before you see them on TV here on this channel, and if you are planning on watching the draft, I hope that you decide to pull up here to the Raiders Report with Jeremy Chuggs and I, because I promise you this, nobody's going to have as much fun as what we do on the Raiders Report for the NFL Draft. Let's go to my man, J-Roy. My dad has season tickets from 1995 to 2016. He told me the loudest the Coliseum ever got was the 2000 AFC Championship game right before Shannon Sharpe caught a crushing 96-yard touchdown. Crowd was nuts. I mean, that would be a huge stake into the heart. I'm not going to lie. A Shannon Sharpe touchdown, especially from the Broncos, that would be a stake to the heart. I mean, for me personally, one of the loudest that I've ever heard it.
Oh, in that game against the Ravens.
For me, the loudest I've ever heard Allegiant Stadium, the Josh Jacobs touchdown in 2019 on Monday Night Football. It was right when he was a rookie. He scored the very first touchdown that season for the Raiders. That was really loud. Also, when the Raiders beat the Detroit Lions week 9 of 2019, that game was like 42-35. That day was super, super loud. The Jacksonville, the final game in Oakland was really loud too, but obviously that one ended in somber. I mean, the AB game, though, sticks with me. I could not believe the environment of what Oakland was. Was anybody else at those games? Those were the only 3 games I've ever been to in Oakland, but the atmosphere was incredible.
Ravens 16, Oakland 3 in
Yeah.
But, I mean, they did have one of the craziest defenses of all time. Dude, that is
What?
very – dude, I'm just looking at the box score. Any idea of – I would not have gotten this.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea of who the starting quarterback for the Raiders was that day?
In the year 2000?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head right now? Rich Gannon?
No. Bobby
Gannon was what?
Hoying.
Who?
Bobby Hoying? Hoya. Bobby Hoya. Dude, he was the leading rusher. Oh, no, it was Rich Gannon. I guess Rich Gannon got hurt in that game.
I was going to say, I thought it was Gannon because I thought Gannon joined the Raiders in 1999. He played until 2002, and that's when he won the MVP.
Yeah, I guess he got hurt in that game.
Okay.
But
I was so confused there for a second.
Bobby Hoya was the leading carrier in that game. 3 carries for 13 yards.
3 carries for 13?
That Ravens defense just, oh my goodness.
It was legit.
4 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries.
I mean, that would have been the year, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They beat the Giants, 34-7?
I think so.
Kyle Bowler ended up winning the Super Bowl. Anything's possible. J. Roy, appreciate you, man. I like being able to hop down memory lane. It's always cool to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Nav? Truth be told, we cannot put a number on wins until the draft and after June 1st. June 1st is an important date. Stay the course and draft the holes. QB1 helps the path forward. Great day and eyes forward. And I agree with you, Nav, where you can't predict how many games this team's going to win yet. I mean, there's still so much unknown. I will say that my expectation with Geno Smith is a minimum of 7 games, though. I really do believe that with Geno Smith, it is a minimum of 7 games the Raiders should win. Obviously, injuries can happen, but Geno's never had a losing record with Pete Carroll. You know, like over the past 3 years in Seattle, he was able to get that team to a winning record every single year. And I know people look at the Seahawks and they see all those great receivers and they're like, yeah, but they had all that talent on offense. That's just people that don't actually know how bad that Seahawks offensive line was. Yeah, they had DK. Yeah, they had JSN. Yes, they had Tyler Lockett, but they had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, which I'd rather have a great offensive line and an average receiving core than a horrible offensive line and a good receiving core. Let's go to Josh I, today's MVP. Thoughts about round 1, Will Campbell. Round 2, Alec Manor. Io Manor. Round 3, Dylan Sampson. Round 4, Jalen Milroe.
Don't y'all have – wait, am I tripping?
What?
They all had never mind. Go on.
So Will Campbell at 6. I think this would be a good pick. I don't think that they would – I don't know where they're going to end up putting him as like a guard or if they're going to put him as a tackle. The receiver out of Stanford, I like. I do think, though, you could get a better receiver in round 2. I'm not going to lie. Dylan Sampson, the running back from Tennessee, I think is a good pick there. And Jalen Milroe in round 4, I'm on board with it. Like, I would not mind this start because I do think all of these players kind of feed off of each other. I still would like another field stretcher because I do think that the Raiders need a field stretcher. So hopefully, if you went out and got A.O. Manor, then I'm also hoping you're probably got somebody along the lines of like a Tyler Lockett. Somebody that can stretch the field a little bit. Josh I, so far today's MVP. Reminder, if you're looking to try to get in the duck race, it is a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Right now it's a 20 to win. You'd go home with $200 here on the Raiders Report. Oh, man. An alley-oop, Josh I! Nav!
Hey!
What up, Nav?
Off the backboard, double reverse slam!
Off the hizzy.
He says, did I see an alley-oop from Josh I? Well, hell, chuck that shit up there. I got you for a double reverse slam. This pick at 6 will be a big deal for us. Could go in any direction. I really have no idea how it goes. Usually, I can see the path. Yeah, I mean,
Hang on, I got break.
I think what you're saying is 100% true in that, you have to get a difference maker.
I agree.
In round one. And this is, like, I've been one of the biggest guys on Tyree Wilson saying that I think he's going to develop into a good player. But for all intents and purposes, Tyree Wilson has not had top 10 draft production.
Not even close.
Not even close, right? Like, you need somebody, and maybe you trade back, but you either need to trade back or get somebody who is a day one Pro Bowler.
And, for the Raiders, I kind of like, you're going to be able to get some really great players at number 6. However, though, like, if you're Las Vegas and you're looking at some of these dudes, like, I can make an argument that the Raiders could take a Will Campbell. The Raiders could take an Armin Membu. The Raiders could take a Will Johnson. They could take a Jahdae Barron. They could take a Jalen Walker. They could take an Ashton Genty. And when I say all those players that I just did, like, if I was Las Vegas, I would try to trade back. I would try to get somewhere in that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 range. Get another really good playmaker. But then also you're able to add, another second-round pick in the middle and get another starter. I love that idea. Like, I had a really interesting text message yesterday from somebody that said you're sleeping on Will Johnson too much for the Raiders, and I was like, all right, like, maybe I got to pay attention to Will Johnson a little bit more. It's not that – it depends what type of corner you want, right? And I know how valuable Pete Carroll looks at corners, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, but, like, I don't view either of those guys as number 6 overall.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know that corner people say position is more important than a running back, but I'm sorry, like, Ashton Genty is the better overall player. I do think actually Genty is one of the more safer picks that you can go with.
Yeah.
Now, again, you need a great offensive line, and if DJ Glaze ends up materializing and becoming the player that, a lot of us would hope that he would turn into, but you still need a great offensive line to make Genty worth the pick. You go a lot of different ways. I'm with you. But I think that that's a good thing. Because here's the other thing. Every year that we've thought, the Raiders are going to go this way, they haven't gone that way. I mean, last year, I don't think that anybody thought Brock Bowers was going to be a pick at 13. Ends up being the pick. I don't think many people thought that Tyree Wilson was going to be the pick at number 7. Ended up being the pick, right? Like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. What's always good is a Raiders mailbag. Coming up here next on the show, we're going to be answering some questions from the nation. Use hashtag Raiders to get those questions, comments on the show, or you can super chat to skip the line. Holy cow.
Oh, it snuck out.
Holy cow. Feeling all right? Gunny, Crash Dog. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Gunny, I forgot to show you this.
Uh-oh. What?
It's bad.
No good?
No, it's good.
Okay. I was worried there for a second.
It's from Gunny.
It's from Gunny. Yoda said I could smell that through the screen. Does it smell like beer? Oh, dude, that's cool. That's legit. That's legit. Gunny, I appreciate that picture, dude. That's really cool. I mean, what a day, dude. I'm so happy about this Geno Smith extension. It is such a good contract for the Raiders. It's such a good contract for the Raiders. What? Huh?
No, just the comment.
This next one, by the way, is Prize Picks. No? Oh, you're right. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, y'all. Mailbag time coming up here on the Raiders Report. And then after that, if y'all are down to get down, I'm down to get down. I got nothing to do tomorrow. Though, I don't know when the press conference is going to be for Geno. They might end up doing it tomorrow. If they do, I will do my best to cover that story the best that I possibly can. But I'm hoping it's Monday. I'm hoping they wait until Monday for that press conference, which I think I hope it's what they do. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Hashtag Raiders, super chat, skip the line, get those questions, comments on the show right now. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report, and it's Mailbag time. This Mailbag is presented by Panda Sups. If you use code DRAFT over at pandasups.com, you're going to be able to save 25% off. And if you live domestically and you spend over $100, you're also going to get a bag and a Panda Sup shaker, which they will send to you. So this Mailbag, for those of you that do not know, was recorded on April 3rd. It is the day that the Geno Smith extension ended up signing, and all the questions that you're going to see here on today's show are going to be around free agency, around the 2025 NFL Draft, and around trades. And if you're like, Mitch, well, how can I get on a Mailbag? You got to be subscribed. You got to have those notifications turned on, because when we go live is when we do Mailbags. Let's go to Richard Black, number 6 Membu, number 37 Trevion Henderson. Since Geno has been extended, I would love this start, quite frankly. And I think this would be one of the better starts that the Raiders could do in the draft. And I know a lot of people want to go Genty, but to me, Membu is the best offensive tackle in this year's class, and Trevion Henderson catches the football better than almost any running back in this class, and he can pass protect. This would be a great addition and great showing of I'm investing in the quarterback that I just gave $75 million, essentially $66.5 million guaranteed to. Let's go to Raider Prime. Ashton at 6, Shador in the 2nd. I believe in Chip Kelly, bro. I believe in Chip Kelly, too. I don't love the idea, though, of taking Shador Sanders anymore, simply because he doesn't help you win in the next year or two. And this is a team that believes that they can win right now, and Geno's going to be the quarterback for the team for guaranteed the next 2 years. Probably even year 3 as well. Dr. K, where do we rank against the league in offense and defense-wise? I would say we're not top 16 in offense and right in that fringe 16 range on defense. We just still have so many missing pieces that we need to be able to accumulate, and we just have 9 more picks in the NFL draft. I still think we're going to be able to bring in some extra players from free agency just because we have so much extra money, but we are an average team at best right now. Let's go to ED. Trey McBride, Cardinals agree to a $76 million contract. This is the highest paid tight end in the NFL. So is Bowers getting $100 million when his rookie deal is up? I mean, here's what's interesting about the rookie deal for Bowers. When you're drafted in round 1, you get that 5th-year option, and typically teams end up giving an extension, after the 4th year. After the 3rd year is when Bowers is going to get that deal done. And I think that he's going to be probably close. If McBride got 4 for 76, I would say Bowers is getting a minimum of 4 for 100. And hell, I would even say he's probably going to be around the $27 million mark by that time. What's also going to be interesting about this contract is the NFL in the year 2028 is going to be preparing for a new TV deal. And when that new TV deal hits, it's going to be a lot more money, which every year there's going to be more and more money that ends up happening. But Bowers is going to reset the market. He's going to make that Trey McBride deal look real tiny. Let's go to Raider Machine 77. How does this make Seattle look when they didn't want to pay Geno what they gave to Sam Darnold? I think we win this deal all day. I'm actually happy, Machine, that you finally brought up this point. Not you in particular, but like this point was brought up where, it was reported that Geno was looking for $45 to $40 million per year. And it was one of the reasons why he didn't want to stay with Seattle and he wanted to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. When you see the fact that Darnold got 3 years, $100.5 million, and when you look at the Geno Smith deal with the $31 million already on top of it, it's essentially 3 for 106 is how you should look at it. Now, the bigger difference is the guarantees. Geno got $66.5 million guaranteed, where Darnold didn't get quite that. I forget what the number was exactly for Darnold, but, I mean, if you would have told me back on March 7th, when the Raiders traded for Geno Smith, this would be the deal that we got him at, I don't think I would have believed you, because that's not what was reported. And we got him at a discounted rate. We got a legit top 14 quarterback, that, listen to these numbers here. Over the past few seasons, he was number 2 quarterback in accuracy ranking. He was number 1 in 2023, 2022, and in 2021. Top 3 most accurate quarterbacks the last 4 years combined. Number 1 is Geno Smith. Number 2 is Joe Burrow. Number 3 is Kirk Cousins. Geno Smith can chuck the rock, and I can't wait to see what he does this year. Let's go to Patrick. What up, Patrick? Milton was finally traded. Who could we trade, do you think, before the NFL draft? I mean, you got to throw out a name like Michael Mayer. You probably got to throw out a name. I even think like Tyree Wilson might be an unpopular opinion. You know what name actually I'm going to say, though, which this might be rub some people the wrong way, and sometimes that's what's going to happen on mailbags. Dylan Parham. And I say that because John Spytek the other day was talking about the offensive line and was talking about certain players having certain spots. And he left out, he said battling for a center spot, which was JPJ, Jordan Meredith, and then Parham. He said Cap was not going to battle for a starting spot, but also the very first move that they went out and they did was they signed Alex Cappa to a 2-year, $11 million deal. It's essentially 1-year prove-it deal at 5.5. True, you're not wrong there. I would say this, though. Dylan Parham, if we're going to get wild, and sometimes it happens, I would say Dylan Parham is my shocking trade candidate after some of the comments that John Spytek and after a lot of the moves that the Raiders have made. So you know what? This is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show. If the Raiders traded a player right now, let me know down below who you think it could be. Let's go to Christian J. Rivera, 4th or maybe a 5th-round pick in Michael Mayer for Olave. It's not going to be enough. I would say minimum, you got to throw a 3rd-round pick, Michael Mayer, and then maybe the Saints listen for Chris Olave. Let's go to Raider Tone. EJ Speed is a Texan. Sign either Kaiser White or Isaiah Simmons and draft Cody Simon in the 4th round. The Raiders did have a visit with Simon, so I know that he's one of the linebackers that's on their radar. I will also say that I don't know if they're going to go out and sign any linebackers. I could see this team going out and trying to draft an outside linebacker, maybe a Jalen Walker. But then they're also looking at some other interior linebackers as well, maybe even like a Carson Swessinger from UCLA. Josh Melton, what up, dude? What do you think about Ricky White from UNLV? What do you think we could get him and draft him? I would say he probably goes in the 7th, maybe as a UDFA, good special teams player. And I'll always say this. When I'm looking at the back half of the draft, right, and if you're the Raiders, you're looking at picks 213, 215, 222. If he gets drafted, that's probably the realm of possibilities that you're going to go with there. I always want a guy that wants to be a good special teams player. He had 4 block punts, can offer you some special teams ability. But then also, I want a guy that wants to be a Raider. And he literally said, I want to stay in Las Vegas. I would love to play for the Raiders. That's a player that I go, you know what? I'll take him in the 7th round. That sounds like a good investment to me. We got more questions coming up here in just a moment, but a huge, huge shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Sups. Use code DRAFT. You're going to be able to save 25% off at pandasups.com. Whether you're looking for protein, whether you want some BCAAs, a little bit of creatine in your life. If you're having trouble sleeping, take a scoop of the Sleepy. I promise you, you're going to sleep really damn well. If you're like me, and I was getting ready for Raiders Live today, I was getting ready to go, talk about our normal thing, and then breaking news, Geno Smith. It woke me up like that. And sometimes I need a little bit of an adrenaline rush. Well, guess what? If you need to be woken up in a snap of a finger, you take a scoop of the Super Nootropic, and I promise you this, it's going to wake you up, man. Use code DRAFT, 25% off at pandasups.com. And a reminder, if you live in the United States and if you spend over $100, you're going to get a bag and a shaker on the house. The owner of Panda, diehard Raiders fan. And I love being able to have sponsors related to diehard Raiders fans because I'm somebody that will always support local. And when I support local, it's kind of how I think about Panda Sups, local Raider fan that's been a part of the show for many, many years. Let's go to my man, Jersey Boy Greaser. Hot take. Steelers take Dart in round 1. I mean, they could, right? I think if they end up going this route, it could kind of remind them of another quarterback that they took right around pick number 20, like a Kenny Pickett. Very different style of QBs, but I don't really think either guy is going to be able to get it done in the NFL. Let's go to Gabriel Sanchez. If fans don't think this organization has been one of the smartest this offseason, then you don't know ball. I'm trying to stay away from the you don't know ball comments because I understand that they rub some people the wrong way, which is never what I try to do. But because I do this show and I always give my honest opinion, I do think people don't recognize the plan that the Raiders have, and the plan that the Raiders have is the plan that has worked for Pete Carroll and John Spytek. This is a team that's not overspending in free agency because they are confident in their ability to draft. You see teams all the time that aren't confident in their ability to draft overspend in free agency all the time. Teams that are confident in their ability to draft, they don't. And this team is confident in their ability to draft. Let's go to my man, Nav Man. If we have a top offensive line and defensive line, does running back and corner really matter as much? I'm just saying. Every position matters. And if I was the Raiders, I wouldn't worry about so much like offensive line, defensive line, running back, cornerback. If I was the Raiders, I would worry about bringing in great football players. And I think sometimes teams overthink that, where Brock Bowers was a great pick for the Raiders because he's just a great football player, and you can use him in just so many different ways. And if you're Las Vegas, you just got to add great football players because you have so many holes on this roster. If you had just one hole, giggity, you would be able to fill that. Pause. But because the Raiders have so many different holes, we got to be able to add some good football players here. That's what we need to be able to do. I can't show you what Chugs just did, but it was wild. If you're a real fan and you're a real one of the Raiders Report, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and give me a real one down below. Let's go to Jeremiah Mitch. I think it's a 5% chance we draft Shador at 6 overall. I think that's probably a good percentage. It's not 0, but I don't think it's a very high percentage. I think 5% is probably right around that mark where I would put it. Let's go to C Money. Since we are looking at Renfro, what about going after Elijah Moore? And if you had to ask me who I would rather sign, Hunter Renfro or Elijah Moore, it's Elijah Moore, and it's not close. And I hate saying that because I'll tell you this right now. If the Raiders ended up getting Renfro, bro, we would go wild on the show. I mean, we would party. Let's be honest. It would be Hunter freaking Renfro. But this team is looking at trying to add another slot, and they've tried to go a little bit on the cheaper route. They just have. I don't know if Moore's the name I would throw out there. The name I'll continuously throw out there is Robert Woods in terms of cheap, slot, reliable hands. He's got some Raiders coaching connections, though, on top of that. But, I mean, if they went out and got Elijah Moore, I'd be pretty fired up about it. Let's go to Raven69. What is the absolute safest pick at number 6? I would say who the Raiders have as the best player on their board. And that's maybe a bit of a cop-out answer, but if the Raiders got their big board and they go, Ashton Genty is the best player on our board, go take Ashton Genty. If Armin Membu is the best player on their board, go take Armin Membu. If you think that Mason Graham is the best player on the board, go take Mason Graham. I would say this, and I'm being real, the 3 safest prospects that I think the Raiders could take at number 6 are the 3 guys that I just mentioned. Though, Jalen Walker's got to be considered here, and it's just because of some stuff that I've heard. I'll leave it like that. Jalen Walker's got to be a name that's going to be considered here. The only name that I'm probably out on that I wasn't out on before is Teteroa McMillan. Not that I wouldn't draft him in round 1. I just don't want him at 6 anymore. Jacob, since Dallas traded for Milton, do you think that means no more Shador to the Cowboys? I mean, kind of. Yeah, I don't know if Shador was ever going to be the pick. It was a popular thing to talk about because Jerry Jones is crazy enough to be able to do it. But now they have kind of a developmental prospect underneath, Dak for a little bit. The team that I think honestly might take Shador in round 1, there's been a lot of hype around New Orleans. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of hype around New Orleans taking Shador. Hell, I heard somebody call him Shadorlins the other day. Just saying. Mr. Bakes a lot. I feel like you're forgetting about the role Tommy Eichenberg will play next to or over Landon and Devin. I think the problem with what you're forgetting is that this regime did not draft Tommy Eichenberg. And I think Eichenberg is a good linebacking prospect. But if you're this regime, and this is what happens all the time, if it's a player that you didn't draft, you're not as committed to him because it's, if he fails, organizations will go, well, that was, not your pick. It's not that big of a deal. I think unfortunately for Tommy Eichenberg and unfortunately for a lot of those players that were drafted last year, they're not going to be the apple of the eye. They're going to be almost swept away a little bit. But Eichenberg's not better than a Landon Roberts right now. I probably actually might have more confidence in Eichenberg than Devin White as an every down linebacker, but Eichenberg's got to fight for it, dude. And I feel bad for a lot of those guys. I really do. But that's the problem when you change coaches every single year. You're using all these different players and all these different schemes, and you're asking them to do one thing. We need to be able to lock in, this is the scheme that we're going to just continuously run. Now, he is helped out that Patrick Graham has stayed. That is a fact. Yoda, thoughts on the new kickoff 35-yard line touchback rule? Shift toward having more depth, less special teams focused players. I talked about this a little bit in depth. What day was that? Maybe Wednesday or Tuesday. It was on Tuesday's show. I kind of break down all the new NFL rules and how it impacts the Raiders. I said personally that I think it helps out offense, right? If you're a team, but also it helps out a team like the Raiders where Daniel Carlson is one of the more accurate kickers in the league. I break this down in an entire 20-minute segment. So I would say on the video from Tuesday, go check that one out. But it does help out having more depth. But that's not the 35-yard line rule doesn't just help for depth. It also helps for teams later on that are bitten by the injury bug. But all the new NFL rules that happened on Tuesday, I literally do an entire show around it on Tuesday, so please go check it out. If I didn't get to your question, you can either yell at Chugs or you can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at MitchellRens365. I will always do my best to be able to check my DMs. I do have a longer weekend this weekend, so I will have some extra time, though. I'm going to be linking up with some family members. And if you ever want to go heckle Chugs, you can also follow him on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs, which in all honesty, everybody from this show should do, because if you end up winning a prize and you don't have Venmo, the way that you're going to win that prize is by hitting up Chugs on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs. Let's go to Renee. Yo, Mitch.
Mailbag.
What I missed, I just got out of work taking a fat dookie, and can I get a Raiders? A fat Christmas poo.
Renee, I feel this to my core because, I don't have to go right now, but do you ever know, do you ever have a feeling, in your stomach where you're like, oh, dude, I'm going to take a fat shit later? Where, it's coming.
Yes.
It's not coming right now, but you can see, the writings on the wall. The writings on the wall of your stomach. And you're like, later on, when I get home, my toy latte, it's getting an extra cold brew.
Yeah. No, I don't feel like I do what you do.
What do you mean?
I feel like you create a bigger storm than I do.
You take baby shits? What are we talking about?
You're a bigger guy.
You don't take big poo.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know. You're the one that brought it up.
I think, respectfully so, I think you're doing more damage to a toilet than me. I just think bigger guys do bigger damage.
I think this leads straight into our next question.
You're right. Today's National Burrito Day. First off, where's the best place to get a burrito? Second question, are you going chicken, steak, or pastor? Out of those three options, C for chicken, S for steak, P for pastor. Noah, Chug's turtlenecking. I hope not. If I have to pick between a burrito, if I'm working that day, it's probably going to be chicken. If I know it's a good place, I'll actually probably go pastor.
Darren Chugs uses a plunger every time.
Oh man, I go pastor.
So to be honest, I don't go pastor and burrito because I just like pastor street tacos.
Okay.
I like pastor. I like it simple. I don't like it with a bunch of stuff. I like just pastor, onion, cilantro, lime, and then if they have a good hot sauce, a little bit of a green hot sauce or something.
See, burrito,
I'm going chicken or steak, but
okay.
I'm probably leaning more towards the steak. I think I go steak burrito.
Okay. See, I want beans. I want everything in that burrito.
Steak.
I want everything in that burrito.
Carne.
See, steak is the one where I'm very hit or miss.
Yeah, Jackson. Yeah, pastor, maybe a little onion, cilantro, maybe a little pineapple if they have that there. Hot sauce on a corn tortilla.
I want some beans. I want some veggies, some onions. I will probably say yes to everything you're going to put in a burrito. The more the merrier.
Troubles Nation, you're wild. He says lingua.
No. I bet you it's good, but if you told me that it was tongue, I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Brr.
I don't think I'd be able to do it.
I
bet you it's good, but I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Chugs textures the toilet. Yeah. Have you ever seen popcorn ceilings? That's what.
Yep. Yes, I have.
Have you ever seen the first Black Panther movie with the main villain? He takes off his shirt and it's all.
Yep. Actually, that's one of the very first movies that Alex and I ever watched together.
Respect.
We went to the drive-in. I could tell you I could tell you a really funny Alex and I story about that movie.
Did you get Wakanda Forever?
Kinda. That movie holds a very, very special place in my heart. Man, today's been a very interesting day. The fact that the Geno Smith contract extension has happened, the fact that we were able to kind of get through some other segments here. We do have over 852 people still watching. Jason, so you didn't watch the movie. No, we watched the movie.
Yeah, we did.
We watched the movie.
They made a movie.
No, we watched the entire movie. It's just it was like a really big date for us. That's probably that's probably like whenever that movie just came out and was showing at drive-ins is when Alex and I first met. We weren't dating at the time. Alex was actually one of the very first people I've ever met when I first moved down here. And when I first moved down here was 2017. I want to say that movie was what then? 2018 when her and I watched it. What?
Just read Yoda's comment.
Berea going and looks. Yep. Dude, Berea tacos are great. A good Berea taco.
Dude, last week we got really good Mexican food one of the days for lunch, but it was on one of our. I think it was our live last Thursday. We got it.
Carlo, that's your fiance's first movie too? Dude, that's sick. I hope you guys did what we did.
Last Thursday, we had Mexican food before our Raiders live show.
Yeah.
Dude, I was farting the entire time. It was a problem.
Yeah? Turn up your mic. Turn up your mic then. Let everybody hear it. All right, y'all. So here's what we got to do for the remainder of today's show. Every $5 super chat, we're giving away a Raiders draft hat today. Somebody's going to have the opportunity to win that. The MVP of today's show right now, it is Josh I. He is banged 2.5 times on today's episode. Every time somebody bangs on Venmo, you end up getting a Raiders Report hat. I kind of want to turn this into a happy hour. I would be down to get down and get a little bit crazy. I understand that it's a little bit later in the day for some people, but you know what? I'm always down for a good time. So here's going to be my special offer. $100 Venmo, you get a Raiders Report hat. We're going to throw back a beer here. That's going to be the big one. But also we'll do $50 alley-oops. I think that's more than fair. If you want to get in the duck race, cool. We also have our March Madness duck races that we need to be able to do. We have 4 big ones today, which means there's going to be somebody by the end of today. Right now, 8 people have a 1 in 8 chance to win $1,600. By the end of today's show, somebody's going to have a 25% chance to win $1,600. It's going to be electric, dude. Is there any chance I could go pee real quick?
No.
He said no. Okay. I got to take a little bit of a leak. And then when I get back, we're going to get wild. I want to try something here. $20 tuna clock, half beers. So 20, half beer. Another 20, that's the full beer. 20, 20, 20, tuna clock. Let's get it.
Don't break the seal from Darren. Yeah. Troubles Nation, too many bangs. I'm going to go ahead and set up some of the stuff for those duck races. We're going to get those March Madness duck races going in just a little bit. LA Crash Dog, my man. Oh, wow. And, of course, Navman is always down for a tuna clock. Navman is always down for the tuna clock. Which, right now, Navman has, I think, the best chance to win that draft hat. The Raiders draft hat. We're going to be doing that wheel spin later on in the show. Tex-Mex food should be illegal. Dude, Tex-Mex food is great. Y'all are tripping. I love some Tex-Mex. Some queso. Love it. Jose, I will make sure Mitch reads off everybody that's in the duck race for the end of today's show. I do actually need to set up the duck races for the March Madness games, which, let's see, who is in that? I think I have the brackets here. Josh I, double dip of the tune. Tuna, double dipping. All right, here we go. Where are we? Oh, yeah, that's right. The Elite Eight was messed up last time. Dang it, I forgot to fix that. That's on me. Yeah. But, okay, I have it right here, though. We're good. So it's going to be Philip Bogert versus Francisco Ramirez in the LA bracket. Ivan Perez, Ryan Campbell in the Los Angeles bracket. Johnny B. Good versus David Rubio in the Oakland bracket. And Anthony Green up against 93 Navman in the Brockton region.
In the Brockton region. Also, Frank, you, sir. Frank Arias, you in? Who took advantage of the tuna clock? It's been the two MVPs today. 93 Navman and Josh I. The best deal of the day that I probably could have given.
Mario, 10 tacos or 3 burritos? I mean, I think I'm going tacos because I won't be able to finish it, and I'll be able to reheat up the tacos way easier.
So 10 tacos or 3 burritos? I almost think burritos are easier to warm up.
Think so?
Well, I guess it depends. If you're getting like veggies in your burrito, no. I'd probably go tacos. Though, I'm kind of craving a burrito right now. National Burrito Day.
I didn't know.
I didn't either. It's also National Chocolate Mousse Day.
Which I had a question for that, but we didn't really need to go to it. Well, actually, here in a sec. LA Crash Dog, stuck at work. What's up, fam? Just wanted to check in. I will catch up later with the contract stuff. Raider Nation for life, real one for life, and a Semper Fi. Navman said tuna. It's done. Josh I, double dip of the tuna. And y'all will appreciate this because I had him in mind earlier today.
Yep.
Here we go.
Top 5 cold desserts for National Moose Day. Top 5 cold desserts.
Navman, I know. We don't have Fireball right now. That's the thing. We got to go get some more Fireball.
Yeah, I'm out of Fireball, so that's what we did. I did a beer, so we did a whole beer. Top 5 cold desserts.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Lemon
Husker.
meringue, key lime pie.
Tiramisu's a great call.
I like tiramisu, though. I feel like it's the dessert I eat all the time because it's Alex's favorite.
So you don't like it as much.
Not that I don't like it. I just always eat it.
Key lime pie. We were talking about ice cream. Would you consider ice cream a top 5 dessert?
Probably because of the versatility.
Maybe a hot take. I like milkshakes more than I like just like a scoop of ice cream.
Yeah, see that I won't agree with you there.
For me, milkshakes over like if I go to an ice cream shop and I can get either if I want different scoops, if I want like a scoop of this and a scoop of that, then okay, I'll do that.
Sure.
But half the time I just go in and I'm like, I kind of just want a chocolate shake or a shake.
If you told me the ice cream options are vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate, I'll agree with you and say just give me a shake. If I can get different scoops or all. My other problem is I just finish a shake too quickly.
Yeah. Ooh. This, especially around the season, pumpkin roll.
Oh.
You love a good cold pumpkin roll.
I turn into a basic Mitch in the fall. Yeah, a good pumpkin roll hits.
I see chocolate satin pie. That's good. Another one, and we're getting right into the thick of it in the South. If you live in the South, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about right now. We are in the middle of banana pudding season.
Interesting.
I love banana pudding.
I do too. Daniel Jimenez. You in?
I didn't even think about that.
What?
You remember on Earth Day how we used to get the dirt pudding cups where it's like the chocolate pudding and the Oreos?
See, I would just throw away the worms. I don't need the worms.
Oh, that was the best part.
No, it was not.
Ice cream.
The worm is the worst part of dirt.
Ice cream sandwich.
In.
Is that a top 5? Well, so okay. Well, you give your top 5. I'll give my top 5 cold desserts.
I would say lemon meringue, key lime pie.
You're going double citrus. It's wild.
The problem with cold is like there's just so many different options we could go with.
I know.
I would put ice cream in there because I just want ice cream in general.
Mm-hmm.
I do love pecan pie. Though Alex's mom just made.
But do you like pecan pie hot or cold?
I like it hot, yeah.
It wouldn't be a cold dessert.
What do you got? I don't know.
All right. Give me banana pudding as one of them. Cheesecake, ice cream. Ooh.
See, bread pudding would be hot to me.
Yeah, I like it hot. That's a good one. Tres Leches cake. That specifically that peach one you gave me the other day.
Well, that was the cake Alex's mom made, which was Alex's mom made a peach tres leches cake, dude. It was insanity.
And my last one, I think I'm gonna go key lime. Key lime pie.
See, I love lemon and lime like for desserts because a lot of times it's very sweet, very very good. National Chocolate Mousse Day is on. Yikes. All right, let's do. I want to do these two. Do some March Madness races.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some March Madness races, y'all. So here's what we have. Are you able to show the bracket or no?
I was gonna check it before we went live today, but
the Geno Smith news rushed it a little bit. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was gonna fix it, but I do have it all here, so I know who's in it.
Sure. Which, by the way, I just want to be able to pull it up on my end. So the very first race we have is going to be in the Las Vegas region. It's going to be Philip Bogert, the 5 seed, going up against Francisco Ramirez, the 15 seed.
Which
winner of this goes to the Final Four.
I might be speaking out of turn, speaking out of my you-know-what.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I've seen Francisco Ramirez throughout any of the races.
I don't know.
Hilariously, if he wins and he didn't watch anything, just imagine you join something, you totally forget about it, and you win a month later, and you just get a $1,600 Venmo on a random Tuesday.
Like, this is insane. This is insanity.
You just wake up, you're like, what?
I don't remember any of this.
Honey, we won!
I mean, Zahn said felt that. I mean, that's kind of how Zahn did. I don't know if Zahn watched last year.
I know Zahn watched a couple of his races.
He better have.
He was here. He was here when he won.
Gilbert Moreno, you're in. Twice. $20 Venmo right now for a chance to win $250. All right. 15 seed Francisco. 5 seed Philip Bogert. Winner advances to the Final Four. Here we go. Come on, man.
Dun, 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 dun.
Come on.
People are still giving their cold takes or cold ice cream or cold dessert takes in there.
Dairy Queen, a nice blizzard. Nice little blizz.
Pazookies from BJ's are awesome.
The hell's that?
It's literally just a huge cookie with a scoop of ice cream on top.
Okay. See, I would want that warm. Like I got some baklava. Gas, dude. Somebody's got to hit the gas. Bogert, Ramirez. It's going to be Philip Bogert.
Oh, the Cinderella story comes to an end.
Survive and advance, Mr. Bogert. With the win.
Wow.
What a huge win for Philip Bogert. Phil, are you here?
Philip, can you hear me?
Philip, you got a 25% chance to win $1,600.
All right, here we go. Next up, we've got Ivan Perez versus Ryan Campbell.
Oh, dude. Dude, Ivan Perez up against Campbell. Ivan in the Los Angeles bracket, 13 seed. Ryan Campbell, a 2 seed. Here we go. Winner advances to the Final Four. 3, 2, 1. Let's run it. This one is close.
And a quick reminder that all of these races are rigged.
Correct. Every single one of them. We make sure that we pick. Chugs is in the background just going like this.
I actually have a treat, and I put it over whichever dog I want to win.
Ryan Campbell, though, better hurry it up here a little bit. Ivan Perez falling back. Campbell's got a little bit of a lead. Oh, man. Come on.
Know.
Come on, Ivan. Come on, Ivan.
I don't know.
Ryan, you better turn it up. I think Ivan's going to have too much for him. It's going to be Ivan Perez into the Final Four.
The number 13 seed, wow. A shocking defeat.
The 13 seed Ivan Perez now has a 1 out of 4 chance to win. Raider Prime said, Nav, if you win, I'm super chatting.
Oh, Ivan's here. Let's go.
Ivan Perez. You got a 25% chance to win $1,600, man.
And
come on, dude.
If you want,
come on, Ivan.
If you want some underdogs, the Oakland region.
The Oakland region has just been chaos.
We've got the 9 seed Johnny B. Good, which I'm saying that Ivan, 13 seed.
Yeah.
We've got the 9 seed Johnny B. Good up against the 7 seed Rubio. Here we go.
Come on, man.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Here we go. Here we go.
We are a 50 away from doing a beer bong. We're gonna mix and match today some deals. Rubio got a lead. I'll tell you what, this has been a good race. This has been a really, really solid race. Rubio starting to fall back here a little bit. Johnny B. Good and Rubio. This one's neck and neck. Rubio says not so fast, sweetheart. Rubio's going to pull away. Is he doing it? Johnny B. Good. Not enough. Rubio. David Rubio. Survive and advance.
Wow.
To the Final Four. Rubio, are you here? Oh, I hope Rubio's here. Johnny B. Good.
Oh.
Hell of a job, man. Hell of a job.
And not to diminish the other races, but the one we've all been waiting for.
Anthony Green, the 4 seed, up against 93 Navman. Holy cow, dude. Holy cow, dude. This is going to be insanity.
Woo!
Rubio. Josh! Oh! Who's throwing it up? He threw it up!
Oh, my God. Who do y'all think's going to win? Type A for Anthony. Type 9 for 93.
He threw it up.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to throw up. I'm nervous. Because the problem with this race is I'm going to be ecstatic for either one. Anthony's race, honestly, I think more than almost anybody. But Navman is just a legend. Not saying that Anthony's not. Anthony is a huge legend. I've had the opportunity to talk to Anthony multiple times.
Anthony, are you here? I know
Yoda! Bye!
Double reverse slam!
Coming down! Josh Hyde throws it up! Yoda Jenkins, bang! And then Blinky! Blinky! Somebody's got to throw one down for Blink. Someone's got to throw one down for Blink.
182.
What?
You said Blink.
Oh, I'm like, 182 what?
Anthony! He says, I'm grocery shopping, but I can hear you. Okay, Anthony, I'll give you play-by-play for this race.
Anthony Green's about to be like, I was going to get name brand.
All right.
Here we
Anthony,
go.
here we go. In 3, 2, 1. All right, Anthony, the dogs are off. Anthony, you have a slight lead. 35 seconds left on the clock. You have a little bit more of a lead on Navman. You have a full dog's lead on Navman, Anthony Green. 25 seconds left. 25 seconds left in the race. You're pulling away, Anthony. You're pulling away halfway through the race. 20 seconds. Anthony in the lead, but Navman slowly breaking down that lead. Navman, he's gaining. Navman almost tied. 10 seconds. Navman takes the lead. Takes the lead.
Come
Anthony.
on! Come on!
Oh, Navman!
Man, what a race, dude!
The winner, 93, Navman.
Dude. Holy shit, man. What a race, Anthony.
Oh, and Yoda dropped it down for Blake.
Blinky off the backboard. Yoda. Bang! Nav. Bro. You got a
Oh, my God.
25% chance. A 25% chance to go home with $1,600. Anthony, thank you for being a good sport, dude. He said congrats to 93. This is iconic.
Okay, well, this one's working.
The Final Four is in. It's going to be Philip Bogert taking on Ivan Perez, who Philip has raced a lot. Ivan was here today. Rubio has been a big contributor of late against 93 Navman.
And all these races are going to be done in San Antonio with all those big women and the churros.
The Final Four is in.
Oh, the Riverwalk with all these big women in San Antonio.
So my question of the nation is this. I say we do we do I say we do 2 races on Tuesday.
Well, the championship's on Monday.
Yeah.
I think we just do all 3 of them.
You think we just finish it off on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Or do we save the championship game for Thursday? What do you guys want? If Ivan or Nav, Philip, Rubio, you guys are here, do we just do 3 races on Tuesday, finish it then? Do we do 2 on Tuesday, 1 on Thursday? What?
Just read Aggressive Masterator's comment.
Anthony Green putting those name brand groceries back. He's like, all right, well, that was fun. Josh I says save championship match until Thursday.
93, what do you think?
What do you guys want?
93.
I will say Josh is the MVP of today's show.
Yeah, I know, but 93 and Ivan are in it. What are y'all thinking?
My evenings on Monday and Wednesday are not doable.
Well, no, it would be on our Tuesday or Thursday.
Tuesday or Thursday, bro.
So it's either the 2 options are all of the races on Tuesday or only the 2 races on Tuesday and then the final on Thursday. So basically, do you want everything done on Tuesday or do you want to save the championship game for Thursday? Low Life saying all in. Albert says do them all right now.
Good either way. Okay. Low Life says all on Tuesday.
I'm Not Bueno says Navman is the winner in my eyes regardless. Well, aren't we all the winners because we all had fun?
All right, well,
Anthony's like, no.
We will see what y'all decide.
Could you imagine championship race and like for the first time ever, it's a tie?
Rebel said all on Tuesday, champ on Thursday. I don't think that makes any sense. All right, you know what? Though I kind of want to keep the grade the Geno Smith extension, which 50% of people are saying A. Oh, man. That was iconic, dude.
How about this? Let's wait till Tuesday to decide.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do the two
I
races.
I want y'all to like be here.
We'll do the 2 races on Tuesday, and then if those people are there and they want to do it that day, then we'll do it. If they're not there, maybe we wait till Thursday. But I say we maybe table. We table it. And if you are here right now and you're like, damn, I wish I got in on that March Madness,
Hey,
I have some
Mohawk
good
the
news.
Kid. I honestly disagree with that. Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Bo Nix, and I, quite frankly, don't think it's close. But I would say people who don't watch football probably think Bo's better.
Anthony said my dog wasn't feeling well all day.
It's going to happen, dude.
It's kind of like right after that Restrepo guy had a horrible pro day. He was like, yeah, I tweaked my hamstring the day before.
Oh, of course you did. You know what I respect, though? The next person that's in the duck race, Anthony Green. Charles, I got you. You're in. It's a $20 Venmo right now. You would go home with $270 here on the Raiders
We
Report.
do have some super chats to roll through. John.
All right, let's do it. Nothing beats a wet chili verde burrito stuffed with chili verde meat, beans and cheese on top of the burrito is topped with chili verde sauce, cheese, and sprinkled with ground beef.
That sounds like...
Honestly, your super chat looks like that burrito. There's a lot of cheese.
Oh, dude.
Where's the cheese, Danny?
I feel like a wet...
That sounds great.
I've seen people like, oh, yeah, wet burrito. I just feel like that's a way to say, like, a monster enchilada, right? Like, people are like, oh, yeah, a wet burrito. Like, that's a massive enchilada.
You're like, dude.
Which I guess no, because like enchiladas are usually corn tortillas, but still. It just reminds me of a massive Raider Prime. This is March.
All right, I'm going to make a deal because we're going to go a little old school Raiders report here. We are essentially, we need 2 full alley-oops, but 4 50s in general. If we get there, boot. 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 Nah, man, I need some backup on my next race. Who got me? I mean,
This was obviously before though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was before.
Oh, I was like, it didn't seem like you needed it. Though, what was crazy is it's amazing how many times somebody has banged for Navman because LCA did it. They won. Right before that race, Yoda Jenkins goes slamming it down for Navman. Ends up winning the race.
Just saying. Blaine Craig, March Madness bracket equals rigged. Just kidding. Rebel, Knicks love L cake. Mars wants his L back, Chugs.
I might do some playoff games for the Lakers.
If y'all think Mitch is extreme sometimes, like Marshall is like the most extreme basketball fan I know.
Marshall's just the most extreme person.
Just based off of his Twitter. It'll be like, dude, Cat, one of the best players in the league. I literally look at it on Twitter last night. He tweets out, Cat and Mikal Bridges wear the Knicks uniforms, but they don't play like Knicks.
I saw.
I was like, okay.
I mean, here's my one thing I'll give credit to Marsh. Dude's passionate, and I think like that's why people watch though. Like, I think people watch Chugs and I and people like Marsh because at the end of the day, like you want to feel something real. You know what I mean? Like you want to know what you're watching is real. Where like I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat shit. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. But like that's how I want people to talk to me.
Damn it.
Also, Blaine Craig. That's really high. That one's really up there. That one's really, really up there. I don't know if it's going to come down, dude. I don't know if it's going to come down.
Down it.
Blaine says, bring on that boot. Maybe I can get somebody to
Blinky.
fill me up
The
one.
Final Four is looking better than all the 1 seeds. This is March. And bring that boot. Elliot, Mitch, we need 3 more for a boot. For a la boot.
Can someone bring me an...
Actually, I have a what? Oh, I was gonna. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say, I have a deal as well.
Uh-huh.
which
Blaine Josh Bang! We are getting closer and closer. Thanks, buddy.
I have a little deal for you, Mitch. We are one bang away from you doing a boot. I have to go pee.
Okay.
So here's the deal.
Uh-huh.
We're one bang away from Mitch's boot, which I think we could get there. I think it's safe to say. I mean,
We're getting close.
Mitch is pouring it up as we speak, so either we're wasting 3 Happy Dads or Mitch is going to do a boot.
I mean, we've wasted Happy Dads before.
Here's my deal.
I'm listening.
One more bang for you to do a boot. If we get either 2 more bangs or 3 alley-oops while I'm gone, I'll boot race Mitch. And I'll give him a little head start.
I mean, if you want to talk about a boot race, it's not going to be much of a boot race. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be much of a boot race. Though, no man threw it up. He threw it up, Buttercup. Also, Josh I, you in. All right, so this means if somebody finishes off Navman, pause, that I owe you guys a boot. Though, oh my goodness, it's rigged! Darren! Bang! Darren, it's rigged! It's rigged! Darren, no shit, man. No shit, man. Darren. Let's freaking go, dude. Let's rock today. Let's rock today. Which then also, shit, I didn't even see Nav. Or not Nav, Yoda. You guys are getting me tripped up here a little bit. Dude, Yoda. Yoda comes in, throws another one up. I'll be real. I don't remember what Chug said in terms of the deal. I'm not going to act like I do. Let's say if somebody finishes off Yoda's alley-oop, okay, and then we get another alley-oop, Chugs has to boot race me. I think is what he said. I don't remember exactly. Though, I don't know if Cullen... Nah, Cullen's gone. I'll say maybe I get Cullen. Make it a real race. Blaine, Josh, Josh, the other thing that I got you on screen right now. You got to message me on Venmo since you're the MVP today. I want to be able to do like a sponsored show for something that you have. Like it can be anything, man. Like I actually had a dad hit me up. It was last week, and he said, "Hey, I'm a baseball coach for a little league team, or I'm gonna be a baseball coach for a little league team. Would you give a shout out to my team?" Awesome. Like if as long as you're okay, obviously with me, if you send me a picture of the little league team, I can put it up on the show and be like, "Hey man, today's show is presented by my little league team was named Continental." We could do. I want to be able to do more stuff like that because the amount of people that watch this show, the amount of people that make this show possible, I got to be able to show love. Did you see who banged? It's rigged, Darren. It's rigged, Darren. Bang, dude. I don't know if we got there. I don't know what your deal was. I told him I don't remember what you said as the deal. But so Yoda threw one up. I think we need 2 more 50s. 3 more? I don't know. I don't remember the deal. Okay. 3 more 50s or 1 Venmo, and I'll give you a Raiders Report hat. For everyone, somebody smash it down for me. I need the help in the next round. Thanks for all that say great things about me. Truth is, I spend what I can, and I am simply a humble Raider Nation for life. I've been through stuff. The nation got me through it. And, Nav, I appreciate that comment. I also appreciate the amount of people that, when you watch this show, okay, the only way that this show is possible is, participation from an audience where it's participation of, like, everybody just getting together, having a good time, and the fact that people can watch this show and have a good time, and if it takes you away from what you're going through, I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Darren, my first ever bang. Darren. Though, Darren, you got to get a picture, dude. I think your picture's just got to say rigged. We got to find something that says rigged. Yoda then threw one up for Navman, and then Josh I. Bang! Which, if my math is mathing correctly, we are one bang away. But Josh, how close are you to a gong rip? Because I'm doing the math in my head, and I think you're one away from a gong. I think you're one away from a gong rip, which on a Thursday is insanity. It's insanity. Though, are you going to go get your Chugs boot? All right. Also, reminder, we have a hat giveaway we got to do. And we also have a duck race that we have to do. $20 Venmo right now, and for the duck race, you would go home with Patrick Roche is in. Jerry Watson is in. And then I see Gary Backus is in. Can they hear you or no? Oh, Chuck said, we're just kidding. We're just going to end the show and we're just going to leave. Which I bet you there are people that watch this show for the first time and that are like, these guys are just going to leave. We actually go live very often. There's a prince in a third world country that we're trying to save. Navman says the gong is in play. Reb, yeah, if you could do the math for me, Reb, that'd be great. That would be phenomenal. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. If I freaking hits the gong, what are we going to do? If Josh I hits the gong today, we will do, which something I typically don't do on Tuesdays. We'll give away another draft hat. Or we give away 2 draft hats today, if you'd rather just do that. Nah, I want to give away a hat on Tuesday. Let's give away a hat on Tuesday. If I hits the gong today, MVP, no doubt about it. I am already going to send you a hat. Josh, if you hit the gong, I'll send you another one. That way you can give it to somebody. And then we'll do a hat giveaway on Tuesday's show. Hope that works. I don't know. If it doesn't, you can talk to me. Just DM me. I'm satisfied. It's a solid B from Battering Ram. I mean, I like the Geno Smith extension. I really do. I think it's a really, really solid deal from top to bottom. Like, when you think about the way that deal is, it's a good deal. It's a good deal, Chugs. Oh, boy. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take down this boot. Because I know Rebel said Josh I is 80 away from a gong. All right. German, I agree with you. Ron Raspberry, what was the extension? So it was a 2-year deal, Ron. 75 mil worth up to 85.5 with 66.5 million guaranteed. I mean, honestly, dude, it's a phenomenal deal. It is a absolutely, positively phenomenal deal. And this one's rolling in from Josh I. Josh I. His first ever gong rip. Let's freaking go, dude. First ever gong rip. If you don't spam Josh I, get the hell out of here, man. Go somewhere else. I see Ron Raspberry, Eric M., Yoda Jenkins, King Shav, Rebel, Navman. Come on, dude. If you don't recognize real, you got to go somewhere else. Real, recognize real. And what you're also going to recognize is how bad I'm about to get smoked in this boot race. I could start right now. And I don't think I would beat Chugs. You think I would beat? You think I'd win? How many second head start do I get? Josh, you pick. Josh, you get to pick. How many second head start do I get? Can't be anything more than 15. I think that's fair. Can't be anything more than 15. A very good chance. Some might say that Josh I has the best chance of getting a Raiders draft hat. Mr. Josh I, dude. Double hats. Mista. There's that Mista lady again. This is that Mista lady again. All right. Chugs, give Mitch 20 seconds from Nav. I'm leaving this one up to Mr. I. Ron says he needs about 10 seconds to make it a fun race. Rebel says 6.9. In all honesty, if you want to make this a great race, okay, 10 seconds. I was going to say 10 seconds it's going to be close for me. Because that means I have to do a boot in essentially 17 seconds for me to have a shot. Which, that's like a career best. Now, I think my career best, in all honesty, is like 14 or 15. Which I haven't done a boot yet today. This is going to put me in a good spot, though. You almost ready? All right, let me know who you got. C for Chugs, M for Mitch. The boot that I'm doing is Happy Dad. He's got Happy Dad as well, though. I don't know what flavor you have. I have a mixture of watermelon, lemon lime. All right, I just have lemon lime and watermelon. Honestly, it sounds kind of good. Do you eat salt with your watermelon? When I was a kid, my mom used to put salt on watermelon. I didn't mind it. Now, tahini, I put tahini on watermelon now. Ron says this gives Mitch a shot. Though I do still see a lot of C's down below. It's all right. It's all right. I don't blame anybody for picking Chugs. I'm not going to lie to you. Quite frankly, I probably would pick Chugs as well. Where is that? Okay. What? What do you got for me? Born a Raiders fan, I think there's a chance that Shedeur falls in the draft, but with the Geno extension, I wonder if we would pass on him if he's available at 6. I'll tell you this, y'all, Shedeur's going to be there at 6. And the Raiders will pass on him at 6, which is something that I never thought I would have said a few months ago, but now seeing the Geno extension, just seeing how this team thinks and operates, I would be shocked if they took Shedeur at 6. Quite frankly, I don't know if I would understand the plan if they took Shedeur at 6, because when you give Geno $66 million guaranteed, okay, but that's also, you got a reminder, not counting the other money that he has on his other deal. And because the Raiders didn't get that other contract extension done, he technically got $16 million already on top of that. So, if you want to talk about guaranteed money that the Raiders are going to have to give him, the guaranteed money is probably somewhere actually around $82 million. Because, again, $16 million of what he had on that previous deal with Seattle, we didn't get an extension done, so that money just kind of carries over. They're tying the Raiders and Geno Smith for the next 3 years. Like, That's going to be the Raiders starting quarterback. So drafting somebody, like a Shador at 6 means that you're going to eat money in that third year of Geno, but then also you're only going to give Shador a few years to be able to prove it that he's got a shot to do it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. You ready? Though I have, what do you say? Chug said, shirtless. You know the deal.
The real ones know the deal.
The real ones know the deal. This is, I get 10 seconds. I get a 10-second head start. Ah, dude. Let me stretch. You got to loosen up. Got to loosen up here a little bit. Nabman says, I got Chugs by easily 5 seconds. Really? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Darren said, did Chugs lose weight?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Not as much as DJ.
Yeah, well, that's not an easy one. I mean, honestly, we have one guy here at Chat Sports lose over 100 pounds this year. Crazy. It's truth. All right, you ready?
Oh. Mitch is struggling right now. Mitch is struggling. We're good. Hey, if you're going to spew into this. Who won? Let me know. I honestly don't know.
Bro, I think I had you for a second.
Here. We've got the replay. I won. There we go. Oh, hey, oh. Whoa.
I couldn't get it down quick enough. I really thought for a second I had you. I really did.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had him. I really did, dude. I thought I had him. Somebody said tie. See, the problem is, though, oh, man. It was close. But, I think if it ended in a tie, Chugs gets it because his boot comes down first. I know. What? Dude, I'm not going to lie. What the problem with boots are, they hit you a lot differently, man. It hits you a lot differently. Emmanuel Sanchez said, did Mitch say rematch?
Ugh.
All right. How much for a rematch? I would say
It has to be like 7 bangs.
I would say 5 normal bangs. 5 normal bangs, and I'll do a rematch because I'm not kidding you. That thing effed me up. That thing effed up my stomach. What's this for? This is going to be for what? The draft hat?
So
I might be able to get Cullen.
Let me know if you don't see your name.
Cullen, cones.
I'm not going to lie.
He's like, I don't want that.
It is probably going to Josh I.
Josh I's got a lot in this race, dude.
Here we go.
Wait a minute.
Oh, what?
Case Keenum to the Bears.
Oh, wow. Blaine Craig.
What?
What?
You just said Blaine Craig. Oh, he won. Shit. Blaine! I didn't even realize the wheel spun. That's the boot. Blaine, you know how to get in contact with me. First, last name. I think I know that. I need your shipping address. I'm going to send you a draft hat. If you could, can you send me which draft hat you would want if you don't care? I'll send you either the black one or the cream one. You get to pick. You can also, if you want the one with the pin, you can pick the one with the pin. That's fine. Congrats, Blaine. Juan, I did try, dude. I really did. There's some times where, again, when you give me like 10, 11 seconds, I know that I can make that close. It's still, though, you're going up against Usain Bolt. It's a tough race to be able to run. I really tried, though. But in all honesty, for anybody out there that's ever done a boot, if you have, spam spam me down below. When you do a boot, it's totally different. I mean, it's totally different. Anthony, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. All right, so we have another duck race to do, and it is your final chance to get in. Final chance to get in. Huge shout out to Josh I for being an absolute freaking legend tonight. Incredible. Honestly, Josh, when people like you, Nabman, Yoda Jenkins pulled up today, freaking Darren, Blaine, like, when people do that stuff, it really helps the show go. It obviously keeps it entertaining. But, like, from the bottom of my heart, like, I appreciate people that do the shit that you do. And I hope that there's a day that I'm in your shoes and I'm able to do the exact same damn thing. But I hope that you guys have also seen, I'll always say, we don't keep any of the super chats. We don't keep any of the Venmos. It always goes back to trying to get you guys more content. And I'll always say this. Like, I think we do a good job here. We can always do better. But I hope that you guys have seen how much time and effort Chugs and I have put into getting you guys more content. Where, honestly, now we get almost 2 videos out every day. We try to do a lot of, they're called shorts. We try to get you more of that stuff. I don't know. I hope that you guys see, like, how much the company here at Chat Sports has grown from the bottom of my heart. Like, I appreciate y'all. Like, Josh, I'm going to remember this show. Like, the amount of times we talk about past shows, the Devontae one, the Kenyon Drake, still owe you a Jello wrestle there, which I swear to you's on. I will give you that Jello wrestle, feet out and all. Dude, this Geno extension show, we're going to remember this one. Like, we're going to talk about this 2-3 years down the road. We're going to be like, Josh I, MVP. Dude was the legend. All right, what do we got here? Yoda said, Raiders report spring break show. The hell would that even look like? A spring break show? I will say this. There is a chance that Alex allows me to do a 1-hour honeymoon show. I talked to her about it. And she said that she would be okay with it. I have to give her a spa day. But she would be okay with it. That's how I'll leave that one. I don't know if I will do it, but I would consider it. I'm not going to lie. All right, $20 Venmo, final call to get in. Let me see here. We got Salvador, you're getting in. I got you. And then Ron Raz, I got you in. All right, so I'm going to send you this list, which now means it's a 20 to win, $330. 20 to win, $330. Not nearly as much. All right, if we were playing, Beast games right now, and you were in the Final Four of March Madness, and you knew that you had a 1 out of 4 chance to win $1,600. would you look at all your competitors right now and say, give me 400, let's split it? If it's
Nah, it for this amount, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Me personally, like this amount, I don't think it's like I'd rather just go all in for it.
1.6 million.
Yeah, like if it was an insane,
You get to split 400,000.
Yeah, like if it was an insane amount that way. But then again, it's like if it was like 1.6 million, if I put in 100K for that, I'd be like, I don't know. Like
Technically, you put in like 50K for that.
I don't know.
Dude, imagine if duck races 30 years from now are like 50K to get in, winners going home, 1.6 mil.
All right, here
What's
we go.
the biggest duck race we could do? Could we do one?
1,000.
Would you guys be down?
It goes up to 1,000.
Honest question. Honest question. Would you guys like be down for doing one where it's like all year? Like imagine if instead of like every game, if we did a year-long duck race where people got in, and at the end of the year, the pot was like, I don't know, just a stupid amount of money. Could we do it? Like if we said right now, every live show, every $50 Venmo I get, I'm going to put it towards the year-long duck race. And at the, like we do one show where there's 1,000 ducks can get in?
Yeah.
So if we end up getting 8,000 ducks, it's winner of first one, winner of the second one, however many. But dude, if we get like one of those pots and it's $30,000, $40,000, that would be insanity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of in, dude. It'd be interesting. All right. Oh, dude, this race is brutal. I'm just gonna warn you. I'm just going to warn you.
Here we go.
The snails. Hang on. Let me check one more time. I need you to, can you add a few more people?
Yeah.
Can you add Raider fan for life? I need you to add Anthony Carney. You can spell that however you want. Jonathan Wilson. So that means it's a 20 to win.
And what was the last one?
Jonathan, last name, Wilson! Dude, Jonathan Wilson, I swear, if you ever bang, that's how I'm doing it. All right, here we go. 1 minute, winner goes home with, I think it's like $350. 350, last place gets the best prize. 3, 2, 1. I can remember we did a snail race before, and I can remember, quote, we should never do that again.
Let's go!
Because you can't see any of the names.
Let's go! Salazar, I see
Dude,
Pena.
this is brutal.
Come on!
I'm not kidding you. I knew that the snails were not going to
Anthony! Anthony!
Anthony looks like he had honestly,
Anthony!
either a great weekend or a bad weekend.
Crash Dog!
Let's
go!
This is brutal, dude.
Josh I! Oh no! Josh I!
He's got 2 eyes. Tony Knutson hasn't moved, actually.
Timmy Jones!
How do they go back?
Oh, some of them are going backwards.
What are they doing? What am I watching here?
Crash!
I don't think anybody should win this
Rustin!
race. This is brutal. It's
Gilbert!
Quite frankly, I don't know.
Anthony!
Come on, Anthony!
Anthony!
Come on! Amy!
The Army?
Or the entire Army won. I don't know. Hang on. All right. Can confirm. It's Amy.
Okay.
It is
The Army!
Amy. It is Amy. The entire Army just won. No doubt about it. Dude, Josh I, bro, you were close. You were really, really close. That is freaking awesome, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to confirm with me. Down below, if you could, that'd be legendary. If not, It is what it is. So I'm looking for Amy right now.
Ron said if I was my snail. Wait, what? If I was my snail was horrific.
If I was my stale. I'll tell you what. That was freaking awesome. If you're watching, Amy, can you please confirm down
Yoda
below?
liked it. Yoda said that was fire.
No way that was good. That's you trying to convince yourself that watching, like, T-ball's fun. I mean, if you don't have a kid, true, if you don't have a kid and you're watching T-ball, you probably...
And you're having fun?
Yeah, you're probably on a list. But...
I do it for the love of the game.
Stop. I mean, at the end of the day, though, like, you want to watch a good race. Like, the dog, the horse, the snail, I don't know if Rustin Long moved.
Anthony said someone threw salt on me at the end.
I mean, legitimately, Rustin Long, that race started, and I don't think he moved. Like, you go back and watch the tape. I don't know if the dude moved.
All right.
Somebody threw salt on me. Holy shit, man.
Well, make sure you keep on following Mitch on social media because whenever the Geno interview...
Yeah, we'll figure out when... I'm hoping the Raiders do it on Monday. Like, hoping.
If they're real ones, they do it on Monday.
If they do it tomorrow, so tomorrow is what is known as Chat Sports Day. We give 1 day every year, like a random holiday.
The only day we get off.
No. But everyone is off. So I literally can't ask for anybody to come in. Now, if it's like the most insanity news ever, of course we would give you guys a video. But if the Geno Smith thing ends up happening, I will probably end up going live from my house tomorrow. If nothing ends up happening, it's all good. I'm hoping they do it on Monday. And if they end up doing the Geno Smith press conference on Monday, I do want to go live for that, and we'll be able to have it here on this channel. So, first off, though, shout out to Josh I, today's MVP. Today's show absolutely could not have been possible. Nabman, to all the people that advanced in our March Madness bracket, we are going to do the games on Tuesday. We'll figure out if we'll do the championship game or if we'll do all of them. So, stay tuned on that. It's going to be, though, an iconic matchup between Philip Bogert and Ivan Perez. And then it's going to be between David Rubio and 93 Nabman. One of those four people that I just mentioned will win $1,600. It might happen on Tuesday. Make sure you're tuned in, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Josh I, you're an absolute legend. Chugs, thanks for showing up today. Geno Smith, excited to have this thing. I think it's a great contract for the Raiders. I'm excited to see what happens. Let's get the F out of here.